He was just an ordinary guy until he died and woke up as a goblin. Betrayed, crushed, and tortured by the Holy Order, he perished in agony. But the system gave him a second chance. Now he's seducing girls of every race to create the ultimate hybrid offspring. An army of monsters no one can stop, and ahead lies revenge on everyone who called him worthless. His name is Lin Tian, and he's here to break this world his way. The news spreads throughout the cave. The leader is dead, his weapon is now in the hands of another. The small goblin standing over the fallen one declares himself the new leader, but they do not believe him. The impudent one furiously proves his right to the throne to another goblin. "Go to hell," he screams angrily, his face distorted. But now the imposter has been defeated, surrounded by his fellow tribesmen. Two goblins whisper, "The chieftain left the loot untouched, time to take it." However, they are stopped by the thought, what about the one who is guarding her? A bony hand appears from the shadows, the guardian returns. A mysterious figure in a cloak slowly approaches them. A crowd of goblins surround the stranger, suspecting that he knows where the prey is and wants it for himself. The goblins whisper in the darkness, "Follow him! Take the prey!" Their red eyes glow. Two goblins discuss, "Wait, ours already went after her earlier." A mysterious goblin in a cloak waits while the others deal with the tough guys. Suddenly there are cries for help. Someone desperately tries to escape. The victim is grabbed and screams in horror, "I don't want to give birth to goblin children. Stop it." The goblin's evil grin and the victim's tearful eyes foreshadow the worst. The girl is surrounded by vile creatures. She begs for salvation from their clutches. But then that same goblin in the cloak intervenes. "Come on, let her go!" "You again, freak," one of them growls. "The leader is dead. This prey is mine." The goblin grows furious. "Just dare to touch my prey and then..." The goblins rush at the alien, shouting, "Die and kill him!" A mysterious goblin fights off an angry crowd of his fellow goblins. His eye turns bloodshot. "Damn it, those damn goblins!" He can't believe that these weaklings are overpowering him. "No, I can't die here." Through clenched teeth, he growls, "I have to survive!" Two goblins with evil red eyes prepare to attack. One of the attackers is defeated, but the rest do not retreat. The goblin in the cloak tears his clothes, preparing for the final battle. "If I don't leave, I'll die." The face of one of the goblins is distorted with horror at the sight of something. "Run, he's got a gun!" the goblin shouts, and the crowd scatters in panic. The goblin in the cloak, breathing heavily, promises, "Just wait!" The rescued girl runs up to him. "You're not like the other goblins, don't die!" The goblin's furious grin reflects his unbending will. Another kind of goblin, he thinks, remembering that he was once a human. He was found by his fellow tribesmen while he was remembering the transfer to this world with an inactive system. The system barely works, showing only basic stats, but he's already on his feet. Over the past few days, he learned a lot about this world from the girl he saved. This world, created by the gods, is teeming with diverse and powerful monsters. Humans have carved out a place for themselves on the continent, but goblins are the weakest of the monsters. His stats are poor even for a goblin, but he is looking for a way to become stronger. The girl explains, "Goblins become stronger by mating with other races." She continues, "Without their females, goblins are constantly kidnapping strangers." The goblin in the cloak darkens. "I was a man. This is for me." Girl with hope. "You're different. You don't want to live like them, right?" He is silent, immersed in his thoughts about the past and the future. She promises, "The knights will accept you when they find out that you saved me." The two of them are alone in the clearing, a fragile truce in a dangerous world. Suddenly the goblin is horrified. "Damn, they're coming back!" He pushes the girl. "Quickly hide!" She nods in fear. With his dagger at the ready, he sneaks up while the girl looks for cover. The goblin rushes forward with burning eyes. "Human, I want to mate. To become stronger means to survive." The cloaked goblin perks up when he hears the cry of "Human!" A sharp swing and another goblin was knocked down by his hand. "It looks like people have come to save you," he says to the girl, and she says hopefully, "Really?" The girl jumps up. "It must be the Holy Order! Let's go and see!" Heavy footsteps approach, raising dust from the ground. A powerful blow of the sword sweeps away the goblins our hero watches. The cloaked goblin looks at the source of power in shock. A knight in shining armor appears. His stats are impressive. "Damn creatures, they tore my uniform." "Unbelievable! I've never seen such stats before. Is this really a human?" the goblin thinks. The girl happily runs to the knight. "Commander, we are here!" Our hero watches the scene. The goblin in the cloak suddenly realizes the danger. No, wait! The knight raises his sword. The girl looks at the blade in horror. Careful! The girl screams, but the goblin pushes her away, taking the blow himself. Both are sent flying by the powerful attack, falling to the ground. The girl is perplexed. They are rescuers, aren't they? Why are they attacking? The goblin assumes a mistake. The knight frowned. It's a shame that the goblin dodged my attack. The girl screams desperately, Commander, it's me, I'm Kelia. The knight with a cold grin. Shut up, Kelia. I know it's you. He continues. You have been defiled by goblins. Repent of your sins before the Holy Mother. Kelia cries out in despair, Commander, I am not defiled. She points to the goblin. It's him. He protected me. The knight mockingly, Stop lying. Accept your fate with these creatures. The goblin can't believe his ears when he sees the knight's cruelty. He pushes Kelly away. Run! There's an exit. Get out of here. The knight attacks. The goblin with the club did not expect such an outcome. A sudden beam of light illuminates the cave, and the goblin looks up in amazement. A mysterious figure in white commands, Wait, loader! A golden barrier surrounds the goblin, blocking the commander's sword strike. A woman in shining clothes appears. This goblin is kind of strange. The cell on its knees begs the Holy Virgin, Save me, Holy Virgin. The girl desperately clings to the robe of the Holy Virgin, praying for salvation. The Holy Virgin addresses the goblin in the barrier. Goblin, do you understand my words? The goblin recognizes her. It is Ephrea, the herald of the temple, his only chance. I can! The goblin cries desperately, full of determination. He tries to explain, I was a man. It was an accident. I'll tell you everything. Ephrea notes his intelligence. Loader suggests it is a gift from the Holy Mother. The Holy Virgin asks Kelia if the goblin has harmed her. Ephrea decides, he is special. Let's take him for study before we make a verdict. Extending her hand, the Holy Virgin asks the goblin with a smile, Do you agree? Goblin, hopefully, I agree. I'll go to prove my innocence. Ephrea dispels the golden barrier with a slight movement of her hand. Loader, let's go, commands the Holy Virgin, and the procession moves forward. The goblin sincerely thanks Ephrea, promising to repay her favor. The Holy Virgin, with a mysterious smile, replies, Of course. Suddenly, Loader stabs Kelia with his sword, and the goblin freezes in horror. Before his eyes, Kelia falls, desperately stretching out her hands. The goblin's consciousness is clouded. The world around him is distorted by shock. Kelia lies lifeless on the ground, and he can't look away. The goblin's face is distorted with horror and complete disbelief in what is happening. Ephrea looks at the goblin ominously. When you return, you will repay me in full. The resonant ringing of a church bell changes the atmosphere. Loader addresses the crowd. Children of God, the goblin raid has brought great harm to the city. He continues furiously, The goblins have vilely killed 30 inhabitants of our city. The crowd is angry. Damn goblins, blood for blood, we are mortal enemies. Loader points to Ephrea, tied to a pole. But the Holy Order cleared the city of these creatures. Ephrea confidently walks along the platform. Continue to pray diligently to the temple. She spreads her arms in radiance. The temple will always protect its faithful followers. The scene changes to a quiet office littered with books and scrolls. On the scroll with the writing, her thought, The sermon was a success. They are still just as stupid. Ephrea, sitting in a chair, reflects, Now they will pray even harder and bring more gifts. A goblin in a metal muzzle, wounded, whispers her name. Ephrea. Ephrea's face expresses cold satisfaction at what is happening. One of the goblin's eyes is bloodshot with rage, and he is breathing heavily. Chained to the wall, the goblin spews curses at Ephrea. Ephrea notes in his notes, Still alive, what strong vitality. She smirked. No wonder the temple can't exterminate the goblins on the continent. Ephrea announces, This time let's see how the poison affects goblins. The muzzled goblin breathes heavily, his strength running out. He shouts at Ephrea, You betrayed everyone and killed Kelia. This is your holy order, your justice. Ephrea forcefully drives a wooden stake into the muzzled goblin's mouth. She mocks. A weak creature dares to challenge the justice of people? Ephrea claims that goblins are nothing but parasites on the continent. She continues, You should be grateful that your body will serve science. Her hand glows with energy. Your vile body will be useful for the Order's experiments. A goblin writhes in a magic circle, engulfed in the flames of torture. There is despair in his eyes. Am I really going to die? It's so absurd. Flashback. Kelia is dead, the knights stand nearby, and he blames his foolish faith in people. He remembers the torture of Loder and Ephrea, his weakness and naivety. His consciousness fades under the torture of the sadist Ephrea. As he fades away, the goblin swears, "If I could, I would never trust people." Suddenly his eyes widen. If I could live again, huh? The goblin's soul floats in the void. Am I still alive? Where is this place? In front of him is a system message. Goblin life simulation system activated. Rating, you are dead. The goblin realizes, this is a system? My personal system that activates after death? He is determined. This system can bring me back to life? But it looks like I'll become a goblin again. The system explains, no, the soul will disappear. Yes, you will retain your memory and return to the cave a week ago. The goblin ponders. With memory? Go back a week? A knowing smirk appears on his face. Now I get it. The blood-red background reflects his thoughts. This is a chance for revenge. I must take revenge on Loder and Ephrea. The goblin soul presses yes on the system screen with a predatory grin. His astral body is enveloped in blue energy. The inscription Revenge glows at the top. Red eyes flash with determination. Ding! Goblin Life 2.0 begins. The system announces, transfer to the Goblin Cave. Notification. The system has given you a slight boost to help you survive longer. The goblin is already in his body, feeling a slight surge of strength. A little, but better than nothing. System warning. The danger has not passed. The Holy Order of Humans is already close. The goblin is focused. The order will be here soon, we can't relax. He turns to the system. System. What can you do? In front of him is the simulation interface. The system replies, this is a goblin life simulator that predicts future events. Goblin with a sly grin, simulation, so I can see the future. He immediately demands, start the life simulation immediately. The system sets the task. Scenario, escape from the goblin cave discovered by Loder. He has 3 options, fight together, run alone, or hide and pray. The goblin muses, even together we can't defeat Loder, only escape will save me. He decides to simulate the option with the highest score. First I'll check, maybe I'll be able to buy a weapon. The simulation shows, you're dead. The goblin's lost, but he got 10 points. As I thought, I can't survive on these goblins, but I got the points, he concludes. With a determined look, he commands the system. Open the exchange store. There are many weapons in front of him, but he sighs. So many things, and I have few points. The goblin's gaze falls on the elven dagger for only 10 points. He grips the blade. How sharp! Not like a goblin weapon, one blow to a vulnerable spot, and that's it. After looking around, the goblin turns to the system. Exactly. System. Why didn't I see Kelia? Where did she go? The system explains, due to the master's reincarnation, the details have changed. Kelia was not kidnapped and lives happily in the village. The goblin freezes, comprehending what he heard about Kelia's fate. A barely noticeable but genuine smile of relief appears on his face. He realizes, so I kept my promise to Kelia. Now I have no reason to worry. The goblin rushes through a narrow passage. I must run and survive. This is the narrowest path. The guards there are weaker. At the entrance to the cave, 2 knights of the order wrinkle their noses in disgust. These goblins are so vile. Hold on. The work is easy anyway. The goblin listens intently. I hear something. The knights at the entrance discuss Loder's order, to kill any fugitives so that no one reaches the village. The goblin with the dagger thinks, damn Holy Order, they even kill their own, let alone me. He clenches his fist. I have no choice but to fight. Suddenly a woman's cry for help is heard and the knights come to life. Here she is! The goblin, having thrown on a cloak with a hood, hides a dagger behind his back, pretending to be a girl who has been saved. One of the knights joyfully shouts, Come out, don't be afraid. I am one of the knights. I am here to take you. Sudden strike. Blood splashes across the screen when the goblin attacks. The goblin, standing over the fallen knight, repeats his words. Come on, human. I'm here to take you. He turns his back to the scene of the fight, his hood hiding his face. The goblin passes by the stunned second knight. What are you waiting for? Hurry up. The goblin under the hood grins predatorily, preparing for a second attack. He rushes at the stunned second knight with lightning speed, dagger at the ready. The hood falls off and the knight screams in horror, recognizing the attacker as a goblin. The elven dagger mercilessly cuts through flesh, filling everything with blood. The knight flies back with a death cry, his body falling limply. As he dies, he realizes with horror, You speak human language. The goblin looks coldly at the defeated enemy, who begs for mercy. The knight takes out a watch with a picture of a family. I have a wife, a daughter. They are waiting for me. You're smart, understand? I was just following the orders, he mumbles, trying to survive. In desperation, the knight offers gold and even a fresh human girl in exchange for his life. The knight, grinning madly, brandishes his dagger. He's distracted. Die, creature! Blood fills the screen, reflecting in the broken glasses of the defeated knight. The goblin dodged deftly, and the knight's watch fell to the ground with a ringing sound. The goblin's elven dagger lies next to the fallen enemy's broken watch. A goblin with a fluttering cloak looks at the result of his quick reprisal. Two bodies of the Order's knights lie silently at the exit of the cave. Suddenly the goblin hears a familiar voice. It's Loader! They're getting close! The goblin runs away, whispering, We will meet again soon. Loader and Ephrea arrive at the scene to find only dead guards. Loader is furious. What happened here? Did the goblins break through? Ephrea suggests the goblin that killed two must be a mutant. Loader grimly confirms, Yes, a mutant. His escape is a bad sign. Loader's rage lashes out at the fallen knight. Useless, you failed to contain the mutant. Ephrea whispers with a creepy smile. A mutant goblin. Wait, this will be fun. Her eyes sparkle madly. We'll catch him and I'll have a lot of fun with him. The goblin hides in the night forest under the gusts of wind. The exhausted goblin falls to the ground. Finally, I survived! He bites into the apple, declaring, I will take revenge in goblin style. I will become stronger by absorbing and multiplying. Against the backdrop of his pursuers, the goblin's eyes glow with the purple fire of determination. In the depths of the forest, his oath sounds, Men will beg for death, women will moan at my feet. The cloaked goblin ponders, Are Loader and his posse still hunting me? He attacks first to gain the advantage, knocking down another cloaked figure. The knockdown figure falls, astonished. It speaks? The goblin clutches a bloody dagger, his purple eyes gleaming with determination. Under the cloak is a goblin woman, surprised by the pain and her feminine appearance. She begs for mercy. Please don't touch me, I just came for water. The goblin is shocked. What's going on? How can this goblin speak in complete sentences? The system reveals the goblin is the messenger of God, and connecting with her will make him the legendary goblin god. The goblin looks at her, realizing, so if... The goblin girl cries, The chieftain will kill me if I don't bring water. Sorry, I didn't mean to, he replies. A goblin awkwardly tries to calm a crying goblin girl. He warns that her crying could attract Loader and his squad. The goblin girl is amazed. You can talk too? Of course, he replies. The goblin understands. Ordinary goblins do not speak. She must have had little contact with her fellows. Touched by his kindness, she invites him to come with her to her tribe. A mischievous glint flashes in the goblin's eyes as he considers her offer. He is glad to have the opportunity to find the tribe, but then he remembers Loader. Safety first. The goblin girl looks at him hopefully, clasping her hands. Yes, I'll take you there, she agrees shyly. I was just looking for subordinates, the goblin thinks and orders. Lead me to your tribe. At night, they reach the goblin camp, lit by fires from inside the tents. Local goblins with spears greet the newcomers warily at the entrance. The goblin in human clothing is mocked by his fellows as a freak. The goblin assesses the numerous tribe. Not a bad start, he thinks decisively. I'm here to join. Take me to the chief, he declares, putting his arm around his companion. The warriors of the tribe respond aggressively. The stranger wants to see the chief, let's catch him first. The goblin girl screams desperately, trying to protect him. He's good, don't touch him! The goblin looks calmly at the gathered crowd. The girl next to him is tense. A creepy staff of skulls appears, and the goblins joyfully shout, The chieftain is here! A mighty level 25 goblin priest, their leader, asks menacingly, Who is making noise here? The goblin remarks, There is a high-level goblin in this tribe. The chieftain asks the goblin girl menacingly, What are you doing with this stranger? The leader's face is distorted by an evil grin. Good. Kill this freak and eat him, the chief orders, and the crowd roars in anticipation. The goblin quickly draws his blue glowing dagger, preparing for battle. Stop! I can make weapons! I can make you stronger! He shouts. The chieftain raises his hand in surprise, ordering his warriors to stop. The goblin stands confidently in front of the chieftain, leaning on the shaft of his spear. The chief sniffs him and says, "You don't smell like a liar. What kind of weapon can you make?" "Find iron ore and I will make tools, and in time, weapons better than mine," promises the goblin. The chief priest muses, "The higher the level of a goblin, the smarter he is." The goblin tribe is inspired. With iron weapons, we are not afraid of people. The leader sets a condition. Find ore, make tools in 3 days, or you will die. The chieftain's threat hangs over the goblin girl, and her too. The chieftain laughs and retreats to his tent, leaving the goblin with his task. The goblin understands. The old man is ruthless. We need to buy time and become stronger. Under the cover of night and the full moon, the group sets out to search. The goblin girl leads the party through a dark forest illuminated by moonlight. The exhausted goblin girl asks for a break. "I'm a little tired." The goblin guard beats her. "If you don't find the ore, I'll kill you, you ugly thing." The goblin cowers under the blows while the guards taunt. "Lazy, you're looking for death." Suddenly, a stone hits one of the guards right in the head. Our goblin intervenes. "I took you to look for ore, not to fight." He sternly reminds, "I already explained what the ore looks like. Find at least a piece in the valley or—" His eyes flash, the dagger gleams menacingly. "Otherwise you will all die!" The goblin guards freeze in horror, their eyes widening in fear. "He will kill us with iron weapons! Run!" they shout, scattering in all directions. The goblin thinks gloomily, "Even if I make tools, death is only a matter of time." A system message pops up about the legendary goblin god, and he decides it's time to get stronger. He softly addresses the crying girl, "Goblin Yue, don't cry." The goblin crouches down, comforting Yue as she sits on the ground. "Stay with me, I will protect you, give you shelter and food," he promises. "But we are weak and I need your help to become stronger," he adds decisively. Yue asks with hope and surprise, "How can I help you become stronger?" He leans closer. "If you agree to have children with me, I will become stronger." Yue blushes to the ears. "Really? But I've never—" "It doesn't matter. The main thing is your desire," he answers with a slight smile. Yue's eyes widen in embarrassment, her cheeks flushing. He kisses her tenderly, catching her off guard, but she doesn't pull away. His hand clasps her bandaged leg, symbolizing their new union. Yue, blushing, begs, "I want you to become stronger. Please let me bear you children." System message: Master will have 7 children with Goblin Yue, raising the level cap. Yue is ecstatic, and the system adds, "Due to the talent limit you get, attack pose 9, health po 100, defense plus 10. The goblin feels a surge of strength. The system shows his new characteristics. Little Goblin, LV 7, Max, Levion 17. He clenches his fist. Not only has the level increased, but the body has also improved. The chances against the priest are now higher. The goblin hugs Yue tenderly. "From now on, you are mine. I will protect you for the rest of my life." Yue is touched. "Ling Tian, you are so kind." Suddenly, their idol is interrupted by desperate cries for help. A terrified goblin guard runs as fast as he can, pursued by a huge demonic wolf. The goblin remarks, "These guys actually found iron ore, but they brought trouble with them." He tells Yue firmly, "Wait here." Yue warns anxiously, "Ling Tian, they are wolves, be careful." A demonic wolf catches up with a goblin guard carrying precious ore. Ling Tian rushed forward, his feet barely touching the ground. In a jump, he finds himself on the beast's back, plunging the dagger into its neck. The rescued goblin looks at his savior with horror and awe. The huge wolf was defeated, Ling Tian stood over it, and the goblin sat on the ground. "Well done, give me the iron ore," Ling Tian demands from the guard. The frightened goblin hands him a large piece of ore with trembling hands. "The quality is good. Find more and I will make you a weapon," Ling Tian promises with a smile. The group finds a suitable spot near a waterfall. "Great, this should be enough." The goblins looked at Ling Tian's creation in amazement. "Gaga, he actually did something!" Ling Tian showed the spear to the goblins. "Look, this is a weapon made of iron ore." The goblins are delighted. He killed the wolf and saved us. An iron spear is better than a stone one. Ling Tian addresses the crowd. Do you want the same? The goblins shout, yes, we do. The goblins looked at Ling Tian with glowing eyes, anticipating the new weapon. Suddenly, the chief priest thrusts his staff into the ground in front of them with force. The chief priest's eye flashes ominously. He did not lie. The chief confirms to the others, he really can make iron tools. The priest grins, setting a new condition. But if you want to stay, make 50 of these in 2 days. The goblins whisper, the chieftain is becoming more evil than the people. One offers help. Brother Lin, I will help. Ling Tian looked at the chief with cold determination, accepting the challenge. The day of delivery arrives. The mountain of copies is ready. Ling Tian presents the weapon. The goblins rejoice. Brother Ling, this is what you wanted. The chief priest grins maliciously. And you really did it very well. The priest announces a feast. Today, everyone eats meat. Let's celebrate Ling Tian's accession. A huge fire is blazing, and a delicious wild boar is already sizzling on the spit. Yue hands Ling Tian a piece of meat. This is a special gift from the priest for you. Ling Tian bit into the meat, his face twisting in pain. He falls to the ground. Yue panicked. Ling Tian, what's wrong with you? Yu tries to help the weakened Ling Tian, and the shadow of the priest looms nearby. The chief priest laughs. Fool, did you think you were so smart? A stranger who dared to challenge my authority, there is only one way out. The priest's clawed paw reaches towards Yue's head, threatening to kill. The priest grabs Yue, grinning evilly. You care about her, don't you? He puts a knife to her throat. Then watch how the traitor dies from your own blade. Yue's eyes were filled with horror, but Ling Tian was already prepared to act. Ling Tian uses a well-aimed knife throw to knock away the priest's hand, saving Yue at the last moment. The priest looks at his wounded hand in rage. You, how dare you! Ling Tian sneered. Fool, I knew about the poison from the system and only played along with you. The chief priest, shrouded in a dark aura, prepares for the decisive battle. Die! The priest rushed towards Ling Tian with a furious cry. Ling Tian deftly dodges and strikes back at the priest's side. Ling Tian raises his blade over the fallen priest. A glittering blade cuts through the air, aiming at the priest. The priest is horrified by the inevitability of defeat. Ling Tian stands among the goblins, holding a blade in his hand. The goblins look at their new leader with awe. The goblins hide, watching what is happening. Ling Tian declares himself the new chieftain of the tribe. He promises to lead the goblins to new victories and pleasures. The goblins greet their new leader with delight. Ling Tian and Yue take over the tribe. Ling Tian and Yue watch as the goblins deal with the dissenters within the tribe. Ling Tian makes plans. Taking over the tribe is just the beginning of revenge. The elves will help us become stronger. A shadow with glowing eyes lurked in the bushes, watching what was happening. What is this? The elf in the hooded cloak looks around anxiously. What's going on? 2 figures descend on ropes into an elven settlement under a full moon. The elf princess hurries to the entrance, where she is met by a guard. Princess, you have returned. Princess, wait. The clan mother... The guard tries to stop her, but she is adamant. No, I have urgent news. The princess bursts into the chambers. Mother, urgent news, in the eastern enchanted forest. The clan mother, surrounded by maids and grapes, lazily asks, Kasana? Embarrassed, Kasana babbles, Yes, sorry, mother, I have to go. The clan mother stops Kasana. Wait, child, if you are in such a hurry, the matter is urgent. Kasana excitedly reports, Mother, important news about the goblin tribe in the forest. The clan mother snorts contemptuously. Goblins? Weak creatures, what's so important about them? Kasana reports on the slain bear and the new goblin chieftain she saw. The clan mother asks again with interest, A new leader? She orders Kasana to clear out the goblins, but leave some for the tribe's needs. The clan mother explains, The potion from their hearts is an excellent tonic for our men. Kasana, blushing, answers embarrassedly, Yes, mother. The clan mother offers Kasana a reward for her efforts in the form of male attention. In a panic, Kasana promises to continue the investigation and quickly leaves. The goblin scout reports to Ling Tian at the campfire about the number of elven houses. Ling Tian promises a reward for capturing the elves and orders weapons to be prepared. The goblins are excitedly preparing for battle, anticipating victory. Ling Tian calmly calculated the enemy's strength, no less than 70 elves. After the priest's death, Ling Tian actively upgraded the goblins, prey, weapons, hunting. The new leader announces the beginning of a large-scale hunt for monsters in the enchanted forest. Ling Tian defeats the giant boar, gaining the skill Giant Tusk Attack. Goblins fight stone monsters, gaining Stone Skin and plus 115 defense. Ling Tian and Yue gain the skills Stealth and Climb when fighting against agile creatures. A horde of goblins defeat a giant snake by mastering venom secretion. Thanks to the Devour skill, the goblin tribe gained many skills, increasing their overall level. Now even an ordinary level 18 goblin has a total strength of 250 units. Ling Tian assessed the enemy. Each elf's combat power was around 200. He confidently declares, "The overall strength of our tribe has surpassed the elves." The simulation system has recharged, but Ling Tian decides to be cautious before raiding the elves. System, start simulation. The goblin's life simulation is activated. In the simulation, a confident goblin raid, an ambush by elves, the capture of Ling Tian and his execution. Simulation result, complete failure, 0 points, no reward. The plan was under someone else's control. Ling Tian thought darkly, so it's like this. Under someone else's control, you say? He comes to the conclusion. There is only one explanation. The elves are watching our tribe. Ling Tian sharpens his senses, trying to detect the elves' surveillance. His gaze becomes icy as he focuses on his search. Suddenly, Ling Tian with a purple aura exclaimed, "Found it!" 2 elven scouts panic and try to escape to warn their own. Deadly spears launched by the goblins fly after them. One of the spears pierces the elf, and the goblin's hand reaches out to her. The wounded elf's cry of pain echoes throughout the forest. Surrounded by goblins, the elf falls, unable to resist. She feels her body weakening. Maybe it's poison? Ling Tian looked at the captive with a smirk. "I didn't expect that I would catch you so easily." Yu meets the captive. You arrive just in time. Ling Tian orders, "Take them back." The goblins rush to the chief. "The boss is here!" The captive elf comes to her senses. The goblin's hand reaches towards the elf's face. The goblin turns to Ling Tian. "This elf?" The elf comes to her senses and becomes indignant. The elf threatens Ling Tian with revenge on his mother. Ling Tian smirked, ignoring the threats. Ling Tian orders the goblins a little kindness. Ling Tian remarked, "The elves you speak of and the elves of my subordinates seem to be different." The captive recalls the clan mother's order. "Leave a few goblins alive." Ling Tian announced, "Enough explanations. Tonight I will lead the tribe and get to the bottom of this." He orders the goblins, "Separate the 2 dead elves, consume them and absorb the skills." Ling Tian smiled ominously at the captive. "As for you?" The elf screams in horror. "No, don't!" Her desperate cry echoes through the night. "Don't do it!" The system reports, elven skills acquired, stealth and night vision. Meanwhile, in the elven house, someone sighs wearily. "Holy Mother, I can't take it anymore, the potion is gone too." The elf says regretfully, "What a pity, if I had known, I would have captured more goblins last time." The elven matron in the chambers asks if Kasana has returned. The warrior suggests that the Holy Mother send a squad to search and at the same time pump up the warriors on the goblins. Matrona agrees. "Okay, send warriors to the goblin tribe to support Kasana." A sudden voice declares, "Your Kasana will not return today." The elves jump up, shouting, "Who is there?" A glowing arrow pierces the throat of an elven warrior. Matrona looks in horror at the falling guard, riddled with arrows. Goblins! Ling Tian appeared at the door with 2 goblins. "Kasana has already been captured and will soon have my child." Ling Tian grinned sinisterly. "Now we will become a family." The elven matron grabs the sword in a rage. The armed matron asked Ling Tian menacingly, "What did you do to my Kasana?" Ling Tian smirked. "What do you think?" The elven matron screams in rage, "I will kill you." Ling Tian easily dodges, suggesting that she surrender since her tribe is surrounded. Matrona falls, feeling her body fail. My body. He explains, the arrow was lubricated with the goblin's paralyzing liquid. The elf is on the floor, cursing her helplessness and breathing heavily. Ling Tian reveals that he overheard their plans to use the goblins to strengthen the warriors. With a knife at her throat, the matron realizes that this is the new leader that Kasana spoke of. There are shouts from outside as the goblins attack, and Ling Tian remarks, "It seems the time has come." Ling Tian smiled ominously. "Now let's talk about cooperation." The elven matron's eyes are distorted with horror and hopelessness. Goblins mercilessly deal with elves who beg for salvation. The matron shouts in rage, "What have you done to my tribe?" Ling Tian points out their helplessness. Ling Tian recalls the elves' past, justifying the goblins' revenge with their newfound power. With a knife at her throat, he declares, "I still need you to create strong warriors." The matron kneels before Ling Tian as her people suffer, her fate depending on her decision. In desperation, she clings to him. "I will do whatever you say, just don't kill my children." Bowing down, the matron touches Ling Tian's leg, showing her submission. She offers to bring the elves and bear him children in order to save her clan. The cry of "Holy Mother" echoes across the peaceful elven camp. The Holy Mother consoles Kasana, blaming herself for underestimating the power of the goblins. Matrona bitterly admits that in order to save the family, the elves will have to take extreme measures. She announces that in order to survive, the elves will have to continue their lineage with the goblins. Behind bars, Matrona states, "Now their home is the goblin tribe." Ling Tian orders the elves to wait for offspring, promising food and punishment for disobedience. A tear rolls down Matrona's cheek as she whispers, "I understand." Matrona has a request to allow her to take care of her children. The goblins are already in full swing, playing with the elven children in front of the captives. Ling Tian notices that Matron has the attribute boundless motherly love. One of the elves turns to Ling Tian, saying that she can't handle all the children on her own. Ling Tian agrees to let Matron help, as the grown elves will strengthen the tribe. The system reports a bonus of plus 200 HP, plus 30 strength, and plus 30 defense after connecting with the Holy Mother. Ling Tian wondered if his potential had reached its maximum level. He decides to continue breeding with stronger individuals to further strengthen them. Half a month later, the sound of children crying can be heard from the camp where the elves are sitting in cages. A goblin holds a newborn half-breed, while an exhausted elf lies nearby. The elf recoils in horror from her child, calling him disgusting. Ling Tian asks how many babies there are, and the elf replies, "About 30 to 40. One of the female elves screams in pain while giving birth under Ling Tian's watchful gaze. Kasana lies on the ground, exhausted, while another elf encourages her not to give up. An elf begs in tears to save her friend, whose first birth was on the verge of death. Ling Tian commands another elf to help the woman in labor, ordering her to spread her legs. He takes on the task himself, claiming that he knows a little about obstetrics. The woman in labor whispers in horror, not wanting his touch. Ling Tian sternly cuts her off. "Shut up! These are my children too!" Wiping his hands, he announces that she is fine, implying a successful birth. The elf thanks Ling Tian for saving her, but he waves her off as the newborns scurry around their mother. Suddenly, Ling Tian turned to the one who saved her, and she screamed in fear, "Let me go!" Meanwhile, in the cage, the goblins attack another elf, who desperately calls for help. A sudden blow cuts down one of the goblins, interrupting his misdeeds. Ling Tian stops the goblin's violence. "I told you so!" His furious gaze promises no mercy to those who touch the elves before they are restored. From now on, the elves are entitled to extra fruit, and the goblins humbly obey. Kasana notices his difference. Ling Tian promises better treatment for obedience. The system launches a scenario. The elves are subdued and bear strong offspring. New system quest. Take revenge on Loader by infiltrating Bright City and learning the enemy's plans. By the fire, Ling Tian reflects on the enemy's strength and how they were quickly discovered. He is confident of victory over Loader and chooses the first, most risky simulation option. In the simulation, Ling Tian almost defeated Loader, but the Sword Saint suddenly intervened. The Sword Saint saves her disciple, and the simulation ends with Ling Tian's tragic death. The system reports, "No chance against the Holy Sword, simulation failed." Ling Tian looked at the elves in the cage, knowing that he had to hurry. The elf brings him a basket of apples to the fire, he silently thinks. He announces to Goblin Yue that he is leaving for human territory, leaving the tribe to her. Kasana suggests casting an invisibility spell on him so people won't notice him. Ling Tian chuckled. This was exactly what he expected from her. The Holy Mother casts a spell, explaining that she fears for the fate of the elven girls if he dies. She adds that her children are here, and only his return will ensure their safety. Wearing a cloak, Ling Tian bids farewell, promising to return, and the elves watch him go. Ling Tian reaches Bright City, a bustling human settlement. Night Bright City greets Ling Tian with increased patrols. In his cloak of invisibility, he wonders, is the Sword Saint already here? Ling Tian walks down the street, collecting rumors all day, but there is not a word about her. Passing by the apple seller, he senses that something is wrong in this city. He heads towards a crowded square with a fountain in the center of Bright City. Ling Tian's gaze caught on something, piquing his curiosity. He notices a crowd of adventurers at the board with the team rankings. In first place is the team of Blade Hero Loader Platinum rank. Ling Tian is surprised. Loader has become stronger again and is at the top of the rankings. He needs to hurry and find clues, otherwise his plan for revenge will fail. Merry cries can be heard from the tavern. Someone is offering drinks. Ling Tian chuckled under his hood. To meet him here of all places. Inside the tavern, he notices Loader drinking at a table. A warrior from Loader's crew boasts about saving himself from a monkey thanks to the captain. At the next table, another adventurer snorts contemptuously at their bragging. A member of Loader's team immediately pounces on the offender. Team Boshi, what business is it of yours? A fight is brewing. Do you think I won't beat you because you're from the Blade Heroes team? The bartender interrupts them. The dragons on the island have entered mating season, stealing cattle and people. Ling Tian, sipping his ale, listened with interest. Dragons. The bartender adds gloomily, if the dragons attack the Bright City and the capital does not send help? The adventurers in the tavern fear that the city will not stand against the dragons, but one of them only snorts. Loader announces that there is nothing more to hide. The Saint of the Sword is already on her way. There's a commotion in the tavern. Loader has summoned the Sword Saint and will become the hero of the Bright City. Loader throws a bag of coins, treating everyone in honor of the upcoming victory over the dragons. Ling Tian thinks, if the dragons attack, this is my chance, and leaves the coin. Loader notices Ling Tian leaving and invites him to have a drink with them. Ling Tian, under the hood, briefly replied, no. As he leaves, he reflects that there will be many more opportunities in the future. Loader frowns as he watches the strange stranger. The Bright City is preparing to welcome you. Welcome, Saint of the Sword, reads the banner. Loader enters the cathedral, where the Saint of the Sword kneels before the altar. He reports the dragon is getting closer. Bright City is under threat of attack. The Sword Saint rises, her hand resting on the hilt of her sword. In all her radiance, she asks Loader about the progress of her mission. Loader reports, 10 dragon-slaying crossbows are ready and stationed around the city. At the exit, they are met by a crowd admiring the nobility of the holy sword. The Sword Saint frowns. This is an important time. Disperse them, she orders Loader. Suddenly, an ominous shadow passes over the rooftops of the Bright City. A red dragon descends upon the streets, snatching a man and causing general panic. The Saint of the Sword and Loader watch as the monster carries its prey into the sky. The Saint of the Sword announces, this is a scout dragon. It will attract the entire horde. The Goblin sentry reports to Ling Tian, the dragon is here and the walls are full of soldiers. Ling Tian was calm. It's almost time, let's stay here. He turns to his goblins. And let's enjoy the show. A horde of dragons descends upon the Bright City from the skies. The mighty dragon releases a destructive beam of energy. The Sword Saint and Loader watch the attack in horror. On the wall, the Saint of the Sword orders the warriors to prepare their dragon-slaying crossbows. Soldiers quickly load huge crossbows, preparing for battle. Volleys of dragon-slaying crossbows rush into the attacking flock. The soldiers cheer, dragon-slaying crossbows are powerful! But one notices something in the sky. The sky darkens, lightning flashes, and a new, even more numerous flock of dragons swoops down. Loader and the Sword Saint look up in horror. Mistress, this is... A giant purple dragon surrounded by lightning emerges from the storm clouds. There's panic on the wall. This is the mother of the purple gold dragons. Crossbows are no match for her. The dragon mother's huge, glowing yellow eye gazes ominously at the city. The dragon mother opens her mouth, gathering a blinding clot of energy in it. A powerful beam of fiery energy falls from the heavens onto the Bright City. People run away in panic. The city wall begins to collapse under the blow. Suddenly, a bright blue magic circle flashes on the ground, heralding protection. The Saint of the Sword, beaming, orders the Mother of Dragons to be left to her and for the others to defend the city. A powerful sword chi flow is released, rushing towards the enemies. The Holy Sword's energy strikes send the smaller dragons flying off the walls. Ling Tian and the goblins watch, surprised by the resilience of the city's defenses. The purple gold dragon mother's characteristics were impressive, but Ling Tian had expected something like this. He turns his gaze to the Sword Saint, recognizing her as a true monster. Alice Nia, the Sword Saint's stats, astound Ling Tian with its abnormal power. The Sword Saint charges at the Mother of Dragons. The latter has more health even though she is weaker. Ling Tian understands that the Sword Saint will not quickly defeat the Dragon Mother. Ling Tian's sinister grin, the perfect opportunity to take revenge on humanity. Ling Tian commands his goblin army. "Yes, boss," their cry echoes. The dragons continue to circle over the blazing bright city, wreaking havoc. The soldier grits his teeth. These flying creatures are so difficult to deal with. The knight celebrates his victory over the dragon. "I'm a dragon slayer now too," he laughs. A sudden cry of terror, "Ah! Goblins are invading!" makes the soldier turn around. The soldiers are stunned. "What? Goblins? They wouldn't dare!" But the dragons are already among them. Panic in the streets. "Help!" scream the fleeing residents, pursued by an invisible threat. The soldier's face distorts with rage. Damn it! He understands the scale of the catastrophe. The warrior orders, "There are almost no dragons left. Ephrea, let's go deal with the goblins." From above, goblins can be seen crawling out of shadows and hatches, surrounding the defenseless. The warrior and the knight rush to help, but a goblin is already hiding under the bars. The evil goblin lets out a battle cry, anticipating the fight. A sudden attack and splashes of blood color the darkness. The knight is defeated. Ephrea is trapped and begs the captain for help among hordes of goblins. The captain rushes to the rescue, shouting, "Hold on, I'm coming!" breaking through the enemies. While fighting the goblins, the captain fails to notice the ominous cloaked figure behind him. "Careful behind!" shouts a comrade, but the captain is already surrounded. Suddenly, a mysterious stranger in a cloak intervenes in the battle, scattering enemies. Ephrea and the knight look at what is happening in horror, not believing their eyes. Ling Tian chuckled as he looked at the captives. "I didn't expect you to be captured so easily." The captain shouts in rage, "I will kill you, vile goblins!" Ling Tian looked at the defeated captain. "Assess the situation first, then speak." Ling Tian orders the prisoners to be taken through the sewers and the rest to the wall. The Sword Saint was surprised. The goblins dared to attack at such a time? The Mother of Dragons sneers, "It looks like you humans are in turmoil too, Saint of Sword." The Dragon Mother attacks. "Die, filthy witch, let's see how much more of your blood will spill." The Saint of the Sword responds with a powerful technique. Steel Flurry. Blue blows strike the enemy. The Saint of the Sword is confident. The Mother of Dragons is almost finished. How are Loader and the goblins? A sudden explosion on the city wall sends soldiers flying. The Saint of the Sword turns around at the explosion. The rebellion hasn't been suppressed yet. The goblins came just in time, the Mother of Dragons remarks. The Mother of Dragons gloats, "Farewell, Saint of the Sword," and disappears in a cloud of dark energy. "I'll come back when my wounds heal," the dragoness promises, and the Saint of the Sword looks after her with annoyance. The Sword Saint is blazing with rage. "Wait, I will destroy your entire race on Dragon Island." The city streets seem deserted after the battle, but the danger is not over yet. The Sword Saint stands over the fallen goblins. "Where is Loader? These useless fools can't even deal with goblins." The exhausted girl and the soldier report the terrible news. "Your Holiness, the goblins have captured Loader and Ephrea." The Sword Saint's face distorts in astonishment. "What? How is this possible?" The defeated Loader and Ephrea lie unconscious. Voiceover, "These goblins are very unusual." The soldier continues. "Their strength is comparable to the great race. Even Loader couldn't defeat them." The Sword Saint turns around decisively. "I will go and slaughter all the goblin tribes in the enchanted forest." The girl tearfully begs the Sword Saint to stay, fearing the return of the enemies. The citizens of the temple and the empire kneel, asking the Saint of the Sword not to abandon them. The Saint of the Sword decides that protecting the citizens is her duty and blames Loader for weakness, planning to ask the royal family for help. In the goblin camp, there are joyful cries. "He's back! The chieftain is back!" The goblins brought back 2 captives, Loader and Ephrea, to the surprise of their fellow tribesmen. Ephrea, exhausted and with her clothes in tatters, is thrown to the ground. A goblin guard with a spear orders the tied-up Loader and Ephrea to be silent. The captives are horrified to discover that the goblins are holding many elves in captivity. Ephrea, breathing heavily, realizes, "Damn, there might be a hero-level goblin in this tribe." Loader quietly asks Ephrea how she is feeling. She replies that the poison is strong and she needs time to recover. Ling Tian is surprised at how quickly Ephrea recovers from the poison, noting her strength. Ephrea furiously asks how the goblin knows her name and what his intentions are. The goblin chief grins ominously, repeating her question about his plans. Ling Tian's hand reaches out towards Ephrea, hinting at his vile intentions. He roughly pushes Ephrea to the ground as Loder watches helplessly. Loder screams in despair, demanding that this violence stop immediately. The goblin guard immediately shuts Loder up with a blow, ordering him not to dare shout at the chieftain. The defeated Loder tries to reason with Ling Tian, reminding him of the power of the holy sword. Ling Tian smugly declares that the sword saint is his next prey, and their tracks have already been covered. The goblin chieftain orders the berserker to bring more monsters, holding a scrap of Ephrea's clothing in his hand. Ling Tian pondered, "Humans won't let this go. We need to complete the evolution before they arrive." The goblin chieftain grabs Loder. "Answer, or body parts will start disappearing." Ling Tian loomed over the captive with a knife. "Do you like to secretly catch goblins and torture them?" Loder shouts in rage. "Damn it, what kind of nonsense are you talking about?" The blade moves closer to Loder's face. "Your response is too slow." Loder writhes in pain, clutching his ear while Ephrea watches in horror. The beaten Loder does not give up. "We protect humanity. Our duty is to destroy monsters." Ling Tian sneered, "For the sake of the people, or for the sake of the glory of your hero squad?" The chief shows a vision. "How much blood is on your hands to complete missions?" Loder and Ephrea are shocked. "How does this goblin know this about us?" Ling Tian smirked evilly. "This conversation is over. The monster will teach you a lesson." Ephrea is horrified. "No, don't you dare! Loder, save me!" Tears stream down Ephrea's face as she screams, "Stop, you monster!" Loder struggles from the goblin's grasp, screaming desperately, "Stop this immediately!" Ling Tian whispers to Ephrea, "The lesson has just started, hang in there." The chief grabs Ephrea, gloating, "Let's see if Loder likes this sight." Ling Tian pointed at his goblins. "You'll see what they're capable of." Loder's face contorts into a grimace of horror and helplessness. "No!" Ephrea lies on the ground, her clothes torn. Loder screams her name in despair. Meanwhile, in the goblin camp, a changing of the guard is taking place at the watchtower. The goblin shouts, "The chieftain said to leave her alive, don't kill her!" The other one grins evilly. Ephrea hangs in chains, exhausted, but the goblin assures, "Don't worry, she's still alive and well." Loder, pinned under the goblin's foot, begs Ephrea to hold on, and she weakly replies that she's fine. The captured elven women and the goblin babies discuss Ling Tian's hatred towards humans. Another elf confirms, "I heard him talking about revenge on humans, it must be true." The elf looked at Ling Tian thoughtfully. "He always keeps his word and does not forget grievances, the most unusual goblin." The daughter notices her mother's blush. "It looks like you like him," she sheepishly agrees. The goblin sentry reports to the chieftain, "Boss, the second-generation goblins have returned from hunting." Ling Tian was surprised. Why did they come back so early today? As he looked at the approaching troop. The mighty goblin warrior reports their return, and Ling Tian notes their impressive evolution. Ling Tian asks the returning hunters about the reason for their early return and their success. The goblin warrior reports that after clearing out the nearby monsters, they moved west where they encountered elite goblins. The chief asks the warrior exactly which tribe they met in the west. Hunter reports, "This is the Bloodfang tribe, all high-level goblins attacking others." Ling Tian thought with glee, capturing their leader would help create even stronger warriors. Loder interrupts them with contempt. "Fools, the knights will destroy you anyway." The goblin chief turns his icy gaze on Loder. "And you've become completely quiet, I almost forgot." Ling Tian menacingly reminds Loder that it is not his turn yet as his minions surround the captive. One of the goblins grabs Loder roughly, admiring his skin. He screams in horror about the inevitable punishment. Meanwhile, Ephrea, chained and exhausted, continues to suffer in captivity. Hours later, Loder, exhausted and in chains, is barely breathing. The elf asks Ling Tian if they are going to attack the Bloodfang tribe. Ling Tian announces, "I have come up with a name. From now on, we are the Tianquang tribe." The mighty goblin warriors are delighted. Boss is mighty." The whole tribe rejoices, chanting the new name, "Tianquang, Tianquang." The elf doubts her success against a strong enemy, but Ling Tian is confident in his abilities. Ephrea, still in chains, is exhausted, and Ling Tian thinks, "I still have an ace up my sleeve." The goblin chief looks around with a grin. We have a good view from here. Let's assess their power. Ling Tian's gaze turned towards the demon forest where the enemy tribe was hiding. He notes the high-level goblins. There are quite a few of them, but they can be dealt with. Ling Tian sees the fear of the enemies. Wait, is their leader approaching? His gaze darkens. The leader of the Bloodfang tribe in person. A huge goblin hero with a bone hammer appears before them. The enemy's stats are scary. Level 50, hero warrior, total strength 900, and the title, breeding machine. Ling Tian sneered. He's not that strong. A dozen of my warriors can defeat him. He notes the problem. But because of their size, poison is useless. A different approach is needed. Ling Tian thought about a plan. Ephrea's spell would be useful. It's time to visit her. The action moves back to the camp of the Tianquang tribe. The subordinate reports, Boss, we followed the instructions, but the captive is dying. Ling Tian approves. Well done. Ling Tian's cold gaze did not reveal his true thoughts. Ephrea, exhausted and in torn clothes, begs for death, ready to atone for her sins. Ling Tian approaches, rubbing her shoulder, and she feels an unexpected warmth. Her eyes reflect his silhouette as he leans over her. Ephrea recoils in horror, screaming, No, don't come near me! She screams in despair, Demon, it hurts so much, I'm going crazy! Ling Tian grabbed her resolutely, cutting off her resistance. His hand grips her shoulder tightly, forcing her to obey his will. He pulls her towards him, declaring, Your punishment is over, Ephrea. Tears of surprise and hope appear in her eyes. Really? Ling Tian replies, I keep my word, but you must choose your faith. Ephrea is perplexed. What faith? Ephrea is in tears. She is asked to choose her faith in God. Ling Tian sets a condition, become his pet, and the torment will end. The broken Ephrea makes a submissive sound similar to woof. She obediently licks his hand, whispering master, her cheeks turning red. Ling Tian was pleased. Very good, Ephrea. Her submissiveness satisfied him. Ling Tian, from now on I am your only master and I will call you. Ephrea obediently, Woof, master. Ling Tian lifts Ephrea up, her emaciated body in his arms. He carries her to the well, light steam rising from the water. Ephrea whispers in the water, You are so kind. I will give you everything. Ling Tian gently washed her, and Ephrea looked at him with a relaxed expression. Ling Tian smiled slyly. Really? Ephrea, this is perfect. He wants to see her skill Holy Light Cage. Ephrea is confused. Master, what is this? An elven book of spells opens before them. Ephrea looks at the book, Ling Tian next to her. The Holy Light Cage, is this it? Ephrea, surrounded by a golden glow, begins to cast a spell. A powerful light cage in the shape of a cross appears in front of them. Ling Tian nodded in satisfaction. That's right. Ephrea, well done. They pass the cells where Loder still languishes. Loder watches in horror as Ephrea calmly walks beside Ling Tian. The prisoner shakes the bars in rage. Ephrea, kill the goblin and heal me quickly. Ling Tian smirked as he looked at Loder. She submitted to me. Ephrea was kneeling at Ling Tian's feet, her posture submissive. Ling Tian asks if Ephrea submitted to him voluntarily. Loder is shocked. As the daughter of the head of the Holy Order, he grabs the bars of the cage, his face distorted with despair. Loder shouts, Your actions will lead to the destruction of the goblins. He spits saliva as he continues to shout, Your destiny is to be killed by humans. Ling Tian thoughtfully, I didn't expect such a personality from Ephrea. He turns to the goblin. Thank you for the information, you will be rewarded. Ling Tian calls out to Ephrea, Let's go and get down to business. Ling Tian and Ephrea prepared to attack. It's time to destroy the Bloodfang tribe. The Bloodfang tribe village is shown, shrouded in an ominous atmosphere. The goblin reports to the chief, Chief, everything is ready. Chieftain Bloodfang roars, Good, today we will destroy the southern tribes. He continues, We will capture the elves and have fun with them. The goblins cheer, Boss, you're amazing. Chieftain Bloodfang basks in triumph. The goblin reports, Some goblin has broken into the village looking for you. The leader is surprised. What? Ling Tian appeared before the chieftain. Chief Bloodfang, I know you are a goblin hero. Surrounded by goblins and orcs, Ling Tian calmly claims that he is only slightly smarter than the average goblin, hinting at his cunning and superiority. He then declares that he is the leader of the southern tribe and directly demands the head of the local chieftain. without intending to engage in unnecessary negotiations. He turns to the others and gives them an ultimatum. Either they obey him or die on the spot. His face and voice are full of determination and fury. He leaves no room for compromise. One of the orcs recognizes Ling Tian and remembers that he is the same chieftain who is holding the elves captive, which adds tension to the situation. However, Ling Tian is not just threatening, he is assessing the strength of those around him. Looking at the huge orc, he notes that he has good genes and orders him to come with him. The orc takes this as an insult and angrily shouts that he is a fool. The next second, the orc grabbed Ling Tian's head and angrily told him to shut up, showing off his superior strength. He admits that he didn't expect Ling Tian to come to him himself, and now considers it his luck, because once he kills them all, the elves and humans will become his. The orc's subordinates jubilantly incite him to destroy Ling Tian right now, enjoying the spectacle and confident of their leader's victory. Ling Tian said coldly. As expected, further conversation is useless. The leader's eye fills with blood. If I didn't want to take you alive, no more words are needed, says our hero. Ling Tian attacks, his blade leaving a trail of blood. The chieftain screams in pain. The Bloodfang chieftain is defeated, and the goblins watch in horror as their leader falls. The wounded chieftain, writhing on the ground, orders, "Kill him! Kill him!" The goblins rush towards Ling Tian, shouting, "Kill him! Avenge the chieftain!" Ling Tian raised his hand, surrounded by a glow. "Come out!" The ghostly figure of a goblin assassin appears out of nowhere, ready to attack. The goblin wonders, why is it so quiet, not noticing the killer with the invisibility skill behind him. Invisible assassins attack. The goblin realizes, of course, this is the skill of Silent Step. Ling Tian's order, exterminate the Bloodfang tribe. His assassins act silently. Suddenly, a multitude of goblin warriors appear, taking the enemies by surprise. Bloodfang Goblin realized that Ling Tian's negotiations were just a distraction. The chief is furious. All their attention was on Ling Tian. He decides to flee. Even as he runs away, Chieftain Bloodfang vows to kill Ling Tian, the vile creature. Ling Tian calmly looked at the attacking chieftain and called out to Ephrea. Ephrea answers the call, preparing the spell, Prison of Holy Light. The Bloodfang chieftain finds himself locked in a glowing cage in horror. He can't believe it. Damn it, a light spell. Goblins can't use them. Ephrea kneels before Ling Tian, who praises her increased strength after her conversion. Ephrea breathes heavily, repeating devotedly, "Master, master, master!" Ling Tian looked at the chieftain with a malicious glee. "Obediently become my heroic goblin sire, Bloodfang chieftain." The wild tribe's camp by the river appears in the frame. Ling Tian let out a sigh of relief as he looked at the tied-up chieftain. It was worth the effort to subdue him. He wipes the bloody dagger. Finally, all the fuss is over. There are no more threats. Loder is horrified from prison. "We captured the hero's seed. How did that beast do it?" Ling Tian gives instructions to Goblin Moon. "Oversee the artificial insemination. The rest of the goblins will handle it." Handing over Goblin Moon to Ephrea, Ling Tian orders, "And I leave her to you, Ephrea. Listen well." Ling Tian said to the elf Leah, "Leah, help me get dressed. I'm going to meet a friend." He takes off his outerwear, confirming, "Exactly so." Ling Tian said with anticipation, "A very important friend." He ponders. To confront the Holy Maiden of the Sword, he needs an ally, the mother of the purple gold dragon. There is a bloody carcass lying on the shore, and Dragon Island is far away, 100 kilometers away. Ling Tian decides that the fastest way to get here is to summon the dragon here. He is sure that the strong smell of blood will soon attract the flying dragon. A huge red dragon dives headlong towards the bait on the shore. Ling Tian, hiding in the carcass, confirmed. As expected, they smelled blood. The dragon grabs the carcass with its claws, along with Ling Tian inside. By carrying away the loot, the dragon confirms the success of Ling Tian's plan. The silhouette of a dragon hovers over the picturesque lands, carrying Ling Tian towards his goal. The red dragon throws the carcass into the rocky nest, carrying Ling Tian deeper into the lair. Ling Tian's carcass falls onto a pile of bones in the dark cave. Ling Tian crawls out of the bloody bait, his plan continuing. He understands. Dragons hunt not only for themselves, now they need to find the mother dragon. Suddenly, a huge eye noticed Ling Tian. There's something strange about the food. The dragon mother recognizes him. "You are the goblin who attacked the bright city. Why are you here?" The two dragons loomed over Ling Tian, threatening, Do you think I won't eat you? Ling Tian calmly stopped them. Wait, I'm here to discuss cooperation. The mother dragon looks at him curiously. How strange. She decides to listen. A simple goblin wants to negotiate? Since you helped me, I will listen. The dragon mother, in the form of a seductive woman, towers over Ling Tian. She suggests if you can satisfy me, I might not eat you. Ling Tian proposed an alliance. You also want revenge on the Sword Saint, right? The dragoness is surprised. What? You, a lowly being, are targeting the Holy Sword Maiden. You have me a little intrigued. She demands details. Tell me, how are you going to deal with this scoundrel? Ling Tian outlined the plan. I need your dragon soldiers to harass Light City from time to time. The dragoness asks about his role. What about you? She doubts. What can a bunch of goblins do? How dare you aim at this crazy woman? Queen Dragon explained, to deal with someone like the Sword Saint Maiden, a direct confrontation won't work. She reveals the plan. We must attack her mind. Killing her spirit is the best way to win. The dragoness laughs. Using goblins as a tool without sacrificing your own strength is perfect. Ling Tian clarifies, then our deal is done? The dragoness replies, of course, but... She brings her face closer to Ling Tian. Who would have thought that a goblin is so smart? I like you more and more. The dragoness in human form playfully offers, how about a small reward? Ling Tian noted to himself, female dragons during mating season really... The dragoness snorts, that's right. Your small body is not worthy of my attention. She decides, in that case, I'll give you other rewards first. Which one should I choose? The shot moves to the Tianquang tribe's camp, surrounded by a palisade. The crucified knight despairs. It's been so long. Why haven't the knights come to save me yet? He decides, if I stay here, I'll break down. I need to run. But how? There are goblins everywhere. The knight looks for a way to escape. Goblins are low. You just need to climb higher. Suddenly, a flying silhouette is reflected in his eye. This is it! This is it! A wyvern flies over the camp. The knight is terrified. A dragon, it's a wyvern. The prisoner tries to break free, afraid of the fire. The goblin guards shout, be on your guard! The goblins retreat in panic before the unexpected threat. A dragon! Where did he come from? The women notice the dragon rider. One of them shouts, wait! A mighty dragon lands in the center of the camp, scaring away the goblins. Ling Tian descends from the dragon. I'm back! The goblin happily greets. Master! Ling Tian patted the dragon. Rest here, don't fly too far. Ephrea and the goblins rejoice as they welcome their leader back in triumph. The crucified knight is horrified. This guy, is he really a goblin? Knight, save me! Meanwhile, troops are gathering at Svetlaya Square. A knight in shining armor clenches his fist, preparing for battle. The Royal Knightly Order is forming a formidable line. The warriors kneel, Holy Maiden of the Sword. Sword Maiden commands, time is of the essence. Prepare a rescue plan. The system sums up, Ling Tian has achieved a lot, but new challenges lie ahead. Ling Tian ponders, skipping a month of leveling is a risky but tempting option. He decides, let's skip this period, and chooses acceleration. Time is speeding up. The enchanted forest no longer gives the required experience. The system announces, the simulation is complete. A month has passed. The reward is life points. Ling Tian looks exhausted after a month-long time jump. He wakes up on a bed, feeling the strange effects of missing time. The system congratulates. Ling Tian has reached level 50, but his overall strength has not increased much. Ephrea runs in with terrible news. Many newborn goblins are stillborn. Ling Tian sees grieving goblins surrounded by lifeless babies. The grief of the goblin mothers. Their children did not survive. The tribe is in despair. Ling Tian realized in horror, did something go wrong with the tribe's development? He asks Ephrea, trying to understand the reason for the tragedy. Ephrea is in despair. I don't know, only 3 survived and they are very weak. Her gaze falls on the captive. Ling Tian stares at the captive who is gloating over the goblins. The prisoner mockingly reveals the reason. The stronger the goblins, the weaker the offspring. The knight laughs at their ambitions, but Ling Tian unexpectedly thanks him for the information. Ling Tian calmly hands over the captive to the berserker goblin. Have fun, but don't kill him right away. The knight cries out in despair, You are merciless. I will not forgive you even after death. Ling Tian understands that without the new goblin heroes, there is almost no chance against Sword Maiden. He looks for a way to strengthen the goblins, and his eyes fall on the dragoness. The dragoness, still in her true form, looks at him with interest. Ling Tian approaches, thinking about her strange state and possible transformation. The dragoness begins to glow, her appearance changing, hinting at a new form. The dragoness appears in a seductive demonic form, playfully blushing. Ling Tian was stunned. Could this be a gift from the Dragon Mother? Suddenly, the dragoness pounces on him, knocking him off his feet. She looms over Ling Tian with a predatory smile, ready for action. The system announces, "New achievement. Congratulations on your promotion. The stats increase." Ling Tian, stunned, realized, "I evolved into the hero class thanks to her." The dragoness growls, her eyes burning. "Let's continue. Don't you dare leave." Ling Tian points at the goblins. "Your task first. Give them blood, then come back." The dragoness rushes towards the puzzled goblins with a wild grin. "What happened, boss?" Night falls and a fire burns brightly in the goblin camp. Goblins celebrate around a bonfire after gaining the power of dragon blood and evolving. Ling Tian sits quietly in front of the huge dragoness, surrounded by the new goblin heroes. He is pleased the dragon's blood has turned not only him, but the entire tribe into heroes. However, the overall strength is still low, so Ling Tian decides to go to the system shop for equipment. As the leader of the clan of heroes, he must strengthen his authority and the power of the tribe. The system shows 180 credits. This should be enough for useful equipment. An elemental crossbow capable of absorbing and releasing elements appears in the store. The next lot is the Blade Thief, which allows you to catch weapons with your bare hands 3 times. He selects both items. The system confirms the successful exchange and addition to the inventory. Ling Tian, with a new crossbow, looks for someone to test the weapon on. His gaze falls on the prisoner. Captive Loader is horrified, realizing he has become a target. Ling Tian confirmed with a chilling grin, "You're a great choice, Loader." Loader screams in panic as Ling Tian approaches, ready to test his new power on him. Meanwhile, desperate cries for help are heard in the enchanted forest. The group of adventurers is bored. The witch complains about weak monsters. The archer sighs. They were tasked with dealing with the goblins while the Holy Virgin was busy with the dragon. Their captain, a knight, urges everyone to be on guard and not miss this opportunity. Suddenly, the witch notices something ahead. "Captain, there's something there." A giant spider emerges from the shadows, causing the witch to experience a fit of arachnophobia. The giant spider attacks by firing a powerful energy beam from its mouth. The archer waves it off. "It's just a third-class bug. What's the point of shouting?" The knight notices something else. "Wait, there's someone else there!" A creepy face with glowing eyes and sharp fangs emerges from the darkness. A huge goblin hero appears in front of them. The knight is shocked. A goblin! And this is a hero class. The goblin leader with red eyes looks at them. The knight thinks, "Looks like this is their leader. I can't believe we found him so quickly." The adventurers prepare for battle. The knight declares, "Excellent. Glory will be ours." The knight commands, "Everyone attack. We begin the crusade. Archers, cover me." They rush at the goblin. Suddenly, another knight in massive armor appears, saying, "Take your time, Captain." The new knight turns to the captain. "Captain, you have already killed many goblins. Give me glory this time." He wants to kill the goblin hero. The captain agrees. "Okay, since you're on the field, the battle will soon be over." The second knight confidently replies, "Trust me." The second knight rushes forward, shouting, "Watch me put him down with one blow." He uses intermediate-level combat skill, Spear of Furious Whirlwind, to aim at the goblin. The knight screams in rage, "Die!" confident of his victory. The adventurer captain watches his comrades attack in shock. The goblin hero easily catches the shining spear with one hand. The captain can't believe his eyes. Grabbing the spear, the goblin looks angrily. The captain shouts to the tank, "Shield! Activate the shield!" The goblin throws the spear back with incredible force, breaking the energy shield. The witch and the captain are thrown back by the blast wave. The captain is shocked by its power. The archer creates a protective field. "Since he's a power type, we'll keep our distance. My bow isn't just for show." Suddenly, the archer is hit. Blood spurts. Her defense is broken. A goblin assassin looms over a frightened archer with a predatory grin. The captain shouts, Damn, it's an ambush! Hold the line, surround the riflemen! The witch points forward in panic. Captain, look! From the darkness, new goblin heroes emerge one after another, completely surrounding the squad. In the night forest, a cough and a desperate cry for help are heard. Two huge goblins stand over the fallen witch, grinning maliciously. Hey, hey! They're ours! One of the monsters grabs the witch. She's mine! I'm going to... His fellow tribesman stops him. No, these are the tribe's trophies. The boss ordered to capture all the people. The first goblin is furious. Why? We killed so many people. We are strong enough to decide. The other goblins support the rebel. Brother, he is right. We are the strongest. The tribe must listen to us. The goblins support the rebel, considering him the strongest and ready to listen. However, another goblin suggests delivering the prisoners to the camp first. In the goblin village they already know, the heroes are back, is heard throughout the area. The squad returns, leading many captured people, causing surprise. One of the goblins asks Ling Tian doubtfully if he is confident in his control over his kin. Suddenly, one of the goblin heroes grabs the knight. This is my prey, I will eat him. Ling Tian calmly demands the release of the prisoner. I need this man for information. The rebellious goblin's eyes flash red. He clearly has no intention of submitting. He brazenly tells Ling Tian, you want him, give me your women in exchange. The rebel's hand reaches out to one of Ling Tian's companions, causing her to feel terrified. Ling Tian looked at the rebel coldly. Goblin Tian, do you understand what you're saying? I'm your leader. Another goblin supports the rebellion. Goblin Quan is stronger than you, we will follow him. Ling Tian said to the leader of the rebels, so you are the one who started it, Goblin Quan. The goblin rebel laughs. Quan won't listen to you. He's our new boss. Quan offers a chance to capture Ling Tian. Goblin Quan is furious, his eyes glowing red. He clearly didn't expect such a rebuff. Quan threatens, today we will kill you and rule the tribe ourselves. Ling Tian remained unperturbed while his companion covered her mouth in horror. Suddenly, Quan knocks down his own henchman. The other goblin is shocked. Brother Quan, you... The goblin general loyal to Ling Tian said to him, Boss, after leveling up, I've come to understand a lot. The general continues, unlike those arrogant idiots, I respect you. However, I also respect absolute power. The general reminds, Father, you became a leader by defeating the old one. Now, Goblin Quan, a level 50 warrior with 1200 strength, declares, I want to try. Ling Tian chuckled. This brat dared to challenge me with only 1200 strength. Ling Tian's hand flares up. He is happy about Quan's growth, but there is one but. Enveloped in flames, Ling Tian asked, Are you sure you want to challenge me? The goblin crowd roars, Quan, kill him! Show him who's boss, take all the women! Ling Tian calmly remarked, It seems like you have quite a few followers. His hand glows again. But before we begin, I want to clarify something. Ling Tian, holding fire in his hand, calls out to the heroes, Whoever is with me, step forward, the rest will be killed. The captured knight sees an opportunity. An unexpected leader. Their feud is our chance to escape. The knight whispers, The difference in strength is enormous, but their fight is our chance to escape. Ling Tian smirked at Quan. It seems I'm the best leader. Not many people followed you. The loyal general clutches his sword. I am not like them. I choose the path of strength. Quan is furious, his eyes blazing. He's even stronger than he was in the forest. Quan lunges forward with a furious attack. Ling Tian deftly dodges the blow. The prisoner was amazed by Ling Tian's speed. He dodged all the attacks, not bad. Ling Tian counterattacked, his sword blazing with fire. Take that! A fiery blade crashes down on Quan, forcing him to retreat. Quan looks at the weapon in amazement. I've never seen anything like it. What speed! The rebel understands. There is no way to dodge. I will have to take this blow. Ling Tian noted, he broke through the fireball, not bad stamina. Quan, shrouded in a dark aura, roared as he slammed his giant sword down on Ling Tian. Ling Tian only smirked in response to the fierce attack. A powerful explosion shakes the village, blinding everyone around. The captured knight and his companion watched the outcome of the fight in horror. Ling Tian's companions looked at the epicenter of the explosion with concern, and the goblins also froze. Quan looks down in disbelief. No, impossible. His blow is stopped. Ling Tian catches Quan's blade with his bare hands. Good strike, but your opponent is me. A fiery spiral emanating from Ling Tian is reflected in Quan's eye. A piercing cry of pain is heard against the backdrop of blood-red flashes. Ling Tian asks Quan if he wants to continue, but the rebel refuses. A bloodied Quan is ready to accept the death penalty from his leader. Ling Tian was surprised by the unexpected resilience of the defeated goblin. The other rebels, trembling in fear, begged Ling Tian for mercy. Ling Tian looked with disdain at the cowardly goblins who were begging for their lives. Suddenly, Quan is enveloped in a healing light. "Rise, Goblin Quan!" Ling Tian offers Quan his life in exchange for loyalty, but he can't believe his ears. However, Ling Tian had no intention of forgiving the others. "Quan, kill them all!" Quan thanks for the mercy and, glowing with a dark aura, is ready to carry out the order. Quan's former comrades beg for mercy in horror at his rage. The blood-red hieroglyph foretells a cruel reprisal against traitors. Ling Tian orders the younglings, "Children, eat these rebels, it will make you stronger." The captured knight Loader is horrified. "Who have you provoked? This is not a goblin, but a monster that will shake the empire." Ling Tian said to Loader, "Sorry for ruining your show. Did you really expect this trash to save you?" Ling Tian looked at the captive with a smirk. How naive. Loader grits his teeth. "It's all that damn sword saint's fault. All she does is hide in the city." The prisoner laughs madly. "Ha ha ha, trash, you are all trash." The goblin general warns Loader. "We have indeed underestimated you, but don't get cocky. The sword saint and the knights will still come." Ling Tian chuckled. "Ha ha ha. Did you think the dragons attacked Bright City themselves? Looks like the mother of dragons is doing well too." Loader smiles bitterly. "Ha ha. So the entire order of knights in the Bright City were fooled by you." Loader defiantly. "You can kill, but don't insult. You got the information, so finish me off." Loader's companion asks for death. "If the same fate awaits me, it is better to die immediately." Ling Tian thought about their words with cold calm. Against the bloody background, Ling Tian replied, "Okay, I will fulfill this request." A sudden cry rings out, "Master Saint's sword! Master Saint's sword!" The Saint of the Sword is surprised in her chambers. "Why are you so excited? We fought off the dragons. The knights have returned." The knight reports with a heavy heart. "They are all destroyed. Only one returned." The Sword Saint is furious and disbelieving. "What did you say?" The doors of the great cathedral creak open, heralding disturbing news. The Saint of the Sword in armor bends over the dying man. He is too badly wounded. Potions won't help anymore. The Sword Saint is worried. "How are you so injured? What about the other knights?" The dying man whispers, "Master, goblin heroes, save the captain." He warns, "Be careful. They are unusually strong." The knight breathes his last, his helmet silently staring at the ceiling. The people around are shocked. Could it really be goblins who did this? Hold on. The knight is furious. "So what if we are heroes? We will destroy these creatures." But the Saint of the Sword stops him. She explains, "The dragons are attacking more often. We can't leave and get ambushed by goblins. I can't do it alone." The Saint of the Sword orders, "Strengthen the city's defenses, and I will deal with the goblins and the dragon personally." The knight is worried. "But what about the Silver Blade Squad?" The witch next to the knight asks grimly, "Do you think they have a chance to survive?" The sorceress advises the Sword Saint, "Master, there is no need to save them," as a dark figure approaches. Kasimov, captain of the Reaper Squad, appears. "The braggarts die first. The Silver Blade Squad has become arrogant." Kasimov, with a skull on his hat, offers, "Let me save them and clean out the goblins." The Sword Saint is surprised. "An entire squad has been destroyed and you want to go alone?" Kasimov boasts, "Haha, I single-handedly outlived 4 Titan warriors." He confidently declares, "Even a group of goblin heroes won't be able to harm me." Meanwhile, the captured knight Loader shows terrible scars on his face and neck. The camera pans over a goblin village where a temporary lull has reigned. Ling Tian activated the system panel. Simulation. Defense successful. Hero clan created. Enemies eliminated. The panel continues. However, under the orders of the Sword Saint, Kasimov infiltrated the clan and killed many, causing great losses. Ling Tian pondered. He dares to counterattack alone? How could one person cause such damage to the clan? The system offers options. Retreat, set up an ambush, or attack first, minimizing losses. Simulation complete. Battle to the death with Kasimov. Reward 20 OL, 3 days left. Ling Tian decides to learn more about the enemy first. A sudden laughter echoes through the goblin village. Ha ha ha! Kasimov is here! The captive Loader laughs madly. Ha ha ha! Finally, someone who knows what he's doing! Loader gloated as he looked at Ling Tian and his companions. You're finished. He fought against many Titan warriors. Ling Tian said to Loader, It seems like you trust this guy a lot. What kind of Titan warriors are these? Loader describes the Titan warriors. These are soldiers mutated with Titan genes capable of destroying Class 5 beasts with their bare hands. The prisoner screams in ecstasy, Ha ha! You're all finished! It's all over! Ling Tian calmly looks at Loader, thinking, Looks like Kasimov really accomplished something, while he yells, Just wait until you get your asses kicked. Ling Tian decided, It seems like it's best to be cautious. I'll send someone to scout out. Meanwhile, Kasimov, riding a horse, makes his way through the gloomy forest. He notes, There is not a single animal in the whole forest. It is too unusual. The rider comes across the remains of the Silver Blade squad. A pile of trash! Broken armor and bloody weapons of fallen knights are scattered everywhere. Kasimov grins. Ha ha ha, the fresh smell of blood is quite creepy. His eyes are full of anticipation. I wonder if I'll be able to have fun this time. Suddenly he hears a desperate cry. Someone save me! Kasimov becomes wary, the skull on his hat staring ominously ahead. Where is this from? Without thinking, he spurred his horse and rushed towards the call for help. In the depths of the forest, an exhausted girl falls to her knees before a tall shadow. Kasimov on horseback emerges from the darkness, asking, Who are you? A girl in torn clothes, with tears in her eyes, looks at him. Kasimov's gaze becomes tense. He suspects something. She begs, holding out her hand. Save me, help me, Kasimov. Kasimov is surprised. You managed to survive. Where is Loader? The girl, sobbing, replies, I escaped from the goblins. Loader is dead. Kasimov squints. Really? Then tell me, where is their lair? She points into the distance. There, not far away. They are very scary. Kasimov chuckles. The girl rushes to him. Kasimov, take me to a safe place. But he waves her off. Go back the same way. Don't bother me. I have things to do. Kasimov, a lone knight, rushes forward, his strength growing with each defeated enemy. He gloats. Loader's death will allow him to activate the lone knight skill without hindrance. Suddenly his horse stumbles. Kasimov notices a tripwire under his hooves. The trap is triggered, and the blast wave throws Kasimov and his horse to the ground. Stunned, Kasimov realizes, ambush? The same girl, Ephrea, appears in front of him, but with a weapon in her hands. Why didn't you leave? Without wasting any time, Ephrea unleashes Holy Light Strike on him. The defeated Kasimov cries out in bewilderment, Ephrea, what are you doing? She coldly replies, The master ordered me to kill you. Ephrea unleashes Holy Light Burst, unleashing a powerful stream of energy towards him. Ephrea stands motionless as Kasimov's dark energy swirls around her. A hand appears from the purple mist, activating the Soul Reaper skill. Kasimov, in a rage, grabs Ephrea from behind. What spell did you use, bitch? He puts the blade to her neck. You think I only kill monsters? I'll skin you too. Ephrea looks at him defiantly. This is a great chance to accumulate my buff. Kasimov's face is distorted with anger. It's no wonder you came alone. Suddenly, Ling Tian appears behind Kasimov, raising his sword while he was distracted by Ephrea. Ling Tian with the black steel sword noted, If you had successfully set up an ambush and accumulated the buff, my tribe would have suffered great losses. Kasimov turns around in shock. How did this low-level goblin steal my weapon in an instant? Ephrea runs towards Ling Tian, shouting, Master! And Kasimov curses her. You dare to sell yourself to the goblins in order to survive! Ling Tian patted Ephrea on the head. So what, she's a good dog. Kasimov is disappointed. And I thought you were strong, but you're just a fan of vile murders. He continues. I don't know how you found out about me, but against an insignificant goblin, Kasimov shouts in rage, even without a weapon and a buff, I will send you to hell. Shrouded in a dark aura, Kasimov rushes towards Ling Tian. Suddenly, 2 huge goblin warriors appeared in front of Ling Tian, blocking Kasimov's path. Ling Tian smirked. Let's see who goes to hell first. A powerful fiery blow falls on Kasimov. Kasimov is completely engulfed in flames. Meanwhile, the peaceful village of the Tianquang tribe lives its life. The goblins rejoice. The master has returned and he has brought prey. In the dungeon, an emaciated prisoner sits next to someone's bones. Ling Tian looked at the remains and chuckled. So this is the vaunted Reaper? His overconfidence led to his death. The captive screams in rage. Another one dead! Saint of the Sword, you sent them to be slaughtered by the goblins! Ling Tian decided the corpses of the enemies are excellent food for cultivating rare species of goblins. He throws Kasimov's body to Gobshan. This is for you, share the rest. The goblins are looking forward to a feast. Ling Tian chose Gobshan for his potential to evolve. Ling Tian reflects on Ephrea. Her hypocrisy and sadism are the perfect qualities for cultivating rare creatures. He takes the apple. The Sword Saint only commands 3 troops, and 1 is already in my hands. Ling Tian anticipated the news of Kasimov's death will break her spirit, forcing her to take action. Ling Tian decides to look into the future using the simulation system. The village of the Tianquang tribe lives its normal life under the shade of the trees. Ling Tian gloats, believing himself to be the winner in the game against the Sword Saint. Ephrea gathers the goblins, announcing a great march tomorrow. Ling Tian said with anticipation, this time it's my turn to destroy them. In the human city at the gates, they ask, where was this discovered? The Saint of the Sword reports remains found outside the city. In the throne room, the Saint of the Sword does not believe that Kasimov was killed by insignificant creatures. She suspects that the failures with the goblins and the dragon attacks are not accidental. The Saint of the Sword comes to the conclusion that this is a conspiracy between dragons and goblins, and we cannot remain idle. The Saint of the Sword orders the Battle Roar squad to immediately head to the capital for reinforcements. The 4 horsemen, including the witch, quickly leave the city. The knight is worried about the long journey and the defense of the city, but the other suggests going alone. The witch explains to the bearded knight, this is the Sword Saint's plan in case of a goblin ambush. She continues, even the Sword Saint cannot cope alone if goblins or dragons attack the city in her absence. The squad captain understands that their task is to break through for help, protecting both themselves and the city. The bearded knight finally realizes the cunning of the Sword Saint's plan. Suddenly, the captain of the detachment abruptly stops his horse, shouting, "Stop!" The party discovers that the bridge across the gorge has been destroyed, and one of the knights asks what to do. The witch confidently declares, the bridge was destroyed intentionally. Captain, we are looking for a bypass. The captain objects, no, it's a trick to lure us into an ambush on the bypass route. He orders, cut down the trees and build a bridge. We'll cross before dark. As dusk fell, the new wooden bridge was finally ready. The captain urges, time is of the essence, cross quickly, and the squad rushes forward. The witch crossing the bridge remarks, it's strange, why did it suddenly get so dark? The captain also raises his head, his face expressing bewilderment and alarm. A sudden insight distorts the captain's face. This is bad! A huge dragon with glowing eyes dives onto the bridge, causing a cry of horror. It's a dragon! Someone notices the rider. Look, on the dragon's back, it's a goblin. The captain, shocked, confirms his worst fears. These goblins and dragons really are in cahoots. Ling Tian on the dragon mocked. Ha ha, you built the bridge really fast. Were you afraid of an ambush on the other side? The captain is furious. So it was you who destroyed the bridge. I will kill you personally. The dragon spews a powerful stream of scorching flame straight at the bridge. The fire engulfs the crossing. The knights shout in panic, run! It's dragon fire! The wooden bridge instantly bursts into flames under the onslaught of the fiery element. The witch screams in horror to the captain, Captain, our bridge, as one of the knights falls. The flaming remains of the bridge collapse into the abyss. The knight curses the goblins. The captain, burning with anger, swears, I will seize you and torture you to death. Ling Tian challenged from above, let's see if you can defeat my goblins and the mother of dragons. Suddenly the party finds itself surrounded by goblins. The witch fears the arrival of wyverns. The witch panics. Commander, if the wyverns arrive, we're finished. The captain orders Bane, break through and report the situation. The commander furiously brings his hammer down on the goblins. Oh, you creatures! Bane, with an axe and shield, fights his way through a crowd of enemies. As he runs away, Bane shouts, the Saint of the Sword will destroy you all! The witch remarks, Commander, something is wrong. They're letting him through. The goblin's evil grins confirm that they are deliberately letting Bane go. The witch looks at Ling Tian. This is all part of the goblin's plan. Ling Tian sneered. There is no mother of dragons, this is a trick to lure out the sword saint. He gloats. I wonder what will happen to Bright City when she's gone. The captain screams in rage, realizing the depth of the betrayal. He orders, shoot down the rider. The Bright City is already lost. Hold out until the Holy One comes. A bearded knight rushes at a huge goblin with a battle cry. The goblin throws the knight back with a powerful blow, arrows whistling around. The knight gritted his teeth. Damn, their strength is no less than mine. This sword... Ling Tian watches from above as the knight fights, recognizing Kasimov's sword. He smirks. You're not that strong yourself. Ling Tian said seriously, Guys, time is running out. And his hand reached out to something. With a bow in hand, Ling Tian jumped off the dragon. Finish off the knights before the saintess arrives. The knights are desperately fighting while surrounded. One of them has already been defeated. The knight is swept away by a powerful gust. He screams, Damn, I can't hold back! The fallen knight admits, It was me. I underestimated these goblins. His comrades also fell. The captain's helmet trembles, reflecting the despair and fury of a lost battle. Ling Tian hurried the giant goblin. Goblin, our time is running out. He orders, Quickly devour these bodies before the saint appears. The goblin thanks the boss with a predatory grin, looming over the fallen witch. Meanwhile, reinforcements are rapidly approaching through the forest. The Saint of the Sword, leading a squad of knights, resolutely enters the forest. Her face distorts with horror at the sight that opens up. Are we really too late? Bane runs up to the holy sword amidst the remains of the squad, shouting, Commander! Bane, kneeling before the skeleton, swears, Damn it, I will avenge you all! The Saint of the Sword states with horror, there aren't even any bodies left. She sees a dragon's paw and asks, So the dragons have teamed up with the goblins again? Bane jumps up, shouting, I saw a goblin controlling dragons. He is their leader. The Sword Saint exclaims in shock, What? With her eyes wide open. Bane remembers the fire attack and pleads, Holy, you have to destroy them! The Saint of the Sword notes, Only a patch of land was scorched. Bones are the remains of goblins. Few dragons. A sudden realization distorts the Sword Saint's face. She has understood their plan. She shouts, It's a diversion! And rushes away, ordering, Quickly, to the Bright City! Bane looks after her in despair. No, this can't be... Meanwhile, Bright City is already engulfed in chaos and destruction. The Saint of the Sword looks around in horror at the streets littered with the bodies of the townspeople. Her legs give way, and she falls to her knees in the middle of the ruins. How could this happen? It can't be, she whispers in despair. The boy sobs over his father's body, his scream breaking the silence. The saint tries to comfort the child, but her hand freezes in the air. Suddenly, the boy pushes her hand away, his face distorted with grief. He screams in her face, Get out! You were not there when the goblins came. Accusations are raining down on her from all sides. What kind of saint are you if you can't protect? The Sword Saint's eyes fill with tears of despair and helplessness. The Sword Saint coughs up blood, her spirit crushed by grief. The townspeople shout in rage, Useless! You didn't protect us! The demoness is impressed. Ling Tian broke the saintess without even fighting her. She is looking forward to meeting this treacherous Ling Tian. At night, the Tianquan tribe's camp can be seen in the forest under the full moon. The goblin sentry joyfully shouted, The boss is back! Upon seeing Ling Tian. Ling Tian, among his goblins, asks Gobdi about the results of the raid. Gobdi reports, The raid went smoothly, lots of loot and prisoners. He adds that Kyria, her family and gold were released by order. Ling Tian listened silently as his dark plan came to fruition. Ling Tian praises Gobdi, allowing him and Gobshana to hunt magical creatures. He grins sinisterly, confident that the Sword Saint is finally broken. Meanwhile, dark dragon silhouettes continue to circle over the lands of the Bright City. In the cave, the demoness thanks Ling Tian for the assistance of the Mother of Dragons. Ling Tian learns that the saintess has fallen ill and plans to continue pressuring her through dragon raids. The Mother of Dragons playfully asks Ling Tian what reward she will receive for her tiring flights. She sits down in front of him, beginning her conversation about the reward. The demoness brought her face closer to Ling Tian, her clawed hand touching his chin. With obvious lust, she declares, As a reward, I want you. How about that? Ling Tian was stunned by her proposal. You want me? Are you kidding? The demoness playfully hints at procreation with Ling Tian. She warns that refusal will upset her greatly. Ling Tian is modest, doubting whether he is worthy of the mother of dragons. The demoness licks her lips, her interest in him obvious. She sees in him not just a simple goblin, but the future goblin king. The mother of dragons explains, her ancient race has always revered strength. Her nature requires union with a strong one to give birth to powerful offspring. Ling Tian, having assessed the situation, humbly accepted her proposal. The demoness's face flushes with pleasure at his consent. Outside the cave, other dragons listen curiously to what is happening. Ling Tian receives a notification. Achievement unlocked. Stats increased. He is happy about the free stats. He carefully crawls out from under the sleeping mother of dragons, deciding to sneak away. As Ling Tian flew away on another dragon, he thought, the mother of dragons is incredibly strong. It's best not to run into her again. From the dark depths of the cave, someone's glowing eyes are watching him. The awakened demoness looks after him thoughtfully. He has exceeded my expectations. Perhaps he will create a new world for the goblins. A loud cry of surprise rings out from the elf village. What? The elf yelled at Ling Tian in rage. Are you trying to drive us away? Ling Tian explains, now that there are captive humans to continue the lineage, you are free. He turns to the elves. Kasana and the rest of you who want to can leave. Kasana kneels down. You are no ordinary goblin. I will stay and follow you. Ling Tian ponders. Kasana stayed because she saw him as useful to the elves. Kasana's daughter is in tears. Mom, how could you stay of your own free will? The other elves follow Kasana's example. We too are staying with the chieftain. Ling Tian smiled ominously. Everything is going according to plan. He announces to the elves, now you are not prisoners but my subordinates. I guarantee your safety. Ling Tian makes plans. The sword saint has been broken. It's time for a golden age of development and the cultivation of strong warriors. The goblin complained to Ling Tian, Chief, this human woman is too small for me. Kasana offers a solution. Chief, we can help with artificial insemination. Suddenly a goblin runs in. Chief, Gobasan seems to have died. Hurry, take a look. Ling Tian was shocked by the unexpected news. What? Ling Tian rushes to the scene after hearing the alarming news. Goblins panic. Gobusan scratched himself to death. Suddenly, the dead Gobusan makes a strange sound and its mouth becomes distorted. His arm becomes covered in bone spikes, foreshadowing a terrible transformation. Gobusan comes to life, turning into a creepy monster and laughs evilly. Before them appears a level 50 Gobusan, a mutant goblin, a berserker. Ling Tian let out a sigh of relief. The stats from the Mother of Dragons saved him from something. Gobusan boasts of his strength, and Ling Tian entrusts him with raising the next generation. 3 months of peaceful development and training pass. The bright city looks calm and prosperous under the clear sky. The bright city tavern is bustling with life. Visitors discuss the sword saint, doubting her recovery. The knight snorts contemptuously. Only the heroes of the Bloodstorm can deal with the goblins. All eyes turn to the arrogant knight who interrupted their conversation. This turns out to be the captain of the diamond-rank buzzard heroes, Sir Earl. Meanwhile, Ling Tian received a report. 150 third-generation heroic goblins were born in 3 months. The royal family has put a bounty on his head, and adventurers are flocking to Bright City. The simulation shows the coming threat, diamond and epic ranked enemies. Ling Tian realizes that epic heroes are stronger than even the sword saint. He ponders on the throne. No hints? Will I have to decide everything myself? Kasana approaches Ling Tian on the throne to report. Ling Tian calmly asked, What happened? The elf reports, resources are running low, the mines are empty, the goblins are starving. Ling Tian decides it's time to look for a new resource-rich and protected place. He stands up decisively. Everyone get ready to move immediately. The elves are surprised, but Kasana immediately agrees. It will be done, chieftain. A picturesque waterfall opens up to the view, leading to a new shelter. Behind the waterfall lies a dark cave, the perfect new home. Ling Tian leads his followers deep into the dark cave with a torch. Inside, he gives orders. Clear the rubble, ensure security, and take care of the captives. The goblins set to work with enthusiasm, their picks glittering in the darkness of the cave. Another goblin drives a torch into the wall, illuminating the new home. Ling Tian announces from above, This is our new home. Death awaits those who trespass. The chieftain muses. The tribe is settled, time to check the Bright City and the adventurers. In the tavern of the Bright City, a mug of foamy beer is placed on the table. The bartender addresses the cloaked figure. Your Highness Caesar, going after the goblins again? Caesar, aka Ling Tian, smirked. I had to save that worthless cousin Loader. The bartender nods understandingly. Ah, so that's what it is. Suddenly a loud laugh is heard. Ha! Caesar! Exclaims the gray-bearded man. The bartender looks at Caesar with displeasure. Sort it out yourself, your reward. Why did I even come here? Caesar and the bartender look at the gray-bearded stranger in surprise. An old man in a hat with a ruby declares, I undertake to exterminate the goblins for 1,000 gold pieces. Sir Earl turns to the magician with a cheeky expression. You've got quite the attitude, old man. Earl scoffs, and Caesar notices Lucelina, the epic adventurer. They whisper in the tavern, Lucelina kills everyone for money, she doesn't care about good and evil. Luceline asks the knight in pink armor if he has come for the goblins. The knight smirks. No, I'm here to slay the dragon and become an epic hero. Lucelina warns everyone, don't underestimate the evolution of goblins, especially mutants. The gray-bearded mage nods. You're right, I've lived 100 years and seen more goblins than women. Visitors discuss. This inferior race is the enemy of all, and they will not be exterminated for thousands of years. The gray-bearded magician, sipping from a mug, grumbles, exterminating goblins is a real hassle. If there wasn't a reward, I wouldn't get involved. Caesar answers seriously. That's right, even the sword saint and the knightly orders have suffered damage. We need to be careful. The knight in pink armor offers the magician, Old man, let's join forces, the whole reward is yours. The magician laughs. Ha ha, agreed. Since you are so generous, your highness, I am with you. Caesar slyly thinks, if it's dangerous, let the Blizzard Squad deal with it, and the old man will save his strength. Meanwhile, preparations for the expedition are in full swing at the adventurers' headquarters. There is a map on the table, and someone suggests, let's just break into the forest and solve everything by force. Caesar, holding the map, objects. There are too many unknowns, we need to scout and plan. The old magician, playing with the ruby, reproaches, You are too cautious, young man. We will manage ourselves, I will not interfere in this. Caesar says thoughtfully, His plan requires adjustment. Attention is drawn to a knight in heavy armor who is considered strange. The gray-bearded mage turns to him. I didn't expect to see Goblin Slayer here, shall we talk? Caesar is shocked. You Goblin Slayer? He clearly did not expect such a meeting. The knight in pink apologizes, and Goblin Slayer chooses to remain anonymous. Caesar notes to himself, strange guy, even his voice changed. The mage laughs as he tells Caesar of the thousands of goblins this warrior killed in one battle. Caesar offers to team up with Goblin Slayer to clean up. He coldly refuses. I don't need a team, you'll only get in the way. The old mage snorts contemptuously. What's there to be proud of? Don't cry later when the goblins catch you. The mage urges Caesar, stop wasting time, let's strike first. Let's not let him take all the glory. Goblin Slayer leads the way, with Caesar following him out of the city. Caesar, wearing a cloak, watches the surrounding area from a cliff. His sharp eyes activate, scanning the warrior. The system shows Goblin Slayer level 65, power from 1,000 to 3,000. Caesar is shocked by the spread of power. System, are you glitching? The system responds, Sorry, master. There are no problems on my side. Meanwhile, a squad of knights on horseback leaves the Bright City. Caesar notices movement. Something's happening. Someone rates Caesar, Holy Knight, strength around 1,300. Then the gaze falls on the magician. Archmage GRU, strength 14,000. It won't be easy with him. Someone watches with a smirk. These two diamond level ones don't seem too smart. There won't be any problems. The knight in pink decides this Goblin Slayer is definitely worth taking a closer look at. A group of adventurers arrives at the ruins of the Sky Fury tribe. The old magician is surprised. It's strange. Such a large tribe of goblins should have been discovered long ago. The knight in pink calls out to the magician, Hey, old man, come here, what is this? The knight hands the magician a found lock of light hair. The magician sniffs the mysterious find carefully. The old man concludes, If I'm not mistaken, this is elven hair. The knight is shocked. Elves are helping goblins? Zazer holds a jar. The forest has been searched, the elves helped the goblins move and covered their tracks. A butterfly flies out of the jar. These butterflies are especially susceptible to the elven scent. The old magician is confident. This way we can track down the elves and goblins. Butterflies fly over the river, showing the way to their pursuers. At the river, Zazer remarks, "The butterflies have lost the trail. Have they crossed over?" The knight suggests, "Old man, maybe we should wait for Goblin Slayer?" The mage snorts, "Unnecessary." The knight in pink points, "Look, there, beyond the river, at the edge of the forest." A goblin appears on the rocks by the water. The enemy has been detected. The squad gives chase, crossing the river after the goblins. Meanwhile, the mysterious hooded observer smiles ominously. He stands in front of a huge dragon. Great, the prey has taken the bait. The observer's face expresses slight surprise or wariness. A hooded watcher watches Goblin Slayer by the river. He didn't expect her to appear, and with such a grin. The observer's face distorts with surprise. Goblin Slayer's armor has been dropped on the ground near the water. An elf ends up in the river enjoying a swim. The observer chuckles. So Goblin Slayer is actually a woman? Her abilities are exceptional, and bathing at such a moment is clearly strange. He senses a catch. Has she really noticed me and is luring me? The observer decides to retreat, taking to the skies on a red dragon. This woman is too cunning, I'll deal with those two first, he decides, flying away. The elf emerges from the water, her appearance intriguing the observer with the question of her race. She smiles mysteriously as if anticipating something special. Meanwhile, one of the goblin scouts suddenly freezes, sensing something. Zazer notices the motionless goblin. He stopped! The tribe must be nearby, stay alert. Suddenly, a barrage of fiery arrows falls upon the squad. It's an ambush. The old magician shouts in rage, "Everyone back!" and prepares a counterattack. The mage's powerful fire shield reflects the flying projectiles, confirming that it is a trap. The knight in pink praises the old man for his dexterity, but he interrupts. The attack is not over. The whole group looks up where a threat comes from. The enemies are already here. A huge goblin with a giant scythe rushes at them from above with a furious roar. The old mage shouts, "This is most likely a goblin hero, all forces on him." A black-cloaked mage launches a fireball straight at a giant goblin. A huge fireball slams into the goblin hero, exploding into flames. The goblin withstands the blow. The magician and his companions are completely perplexed. What? The monster lands, shrouded in a dark aura, completely unharmed. The knight in pink shouts, "Look around! Goblins are surrounding us, and they're all elite." The old mage is alarmed. "Where did they get iron armor? Cecil, you're wearing this!" The mage activates the source of life, restoring strength to the entire squad. Zazer attacks the nearest goblin with the mid-level magic Ice Thorn. Zazer then uses Quicksand Field, slowing down advancing enemies. Zazer unleashes Rain of Justice on his enemies, damaging goblins. A mysterious goblin commander appears at the top of the mountain, watching the battle. The commander orders his henchmen, "Gobudi, create a breach for Gobukong to attack." Gobudi quickly jumps off the cliff, landing in the thick of the battle. Enveloped in a red aura, Gobudi rushes straight towards the old mage. His clawed paw reaches out to the defenseless old man. The goblin commander grabs the mage, who shouts in rage, "Damn goblins!" Gobudi transforms, growing new limbs, and is surrounded by elite warriors. The knight in pink desperately shouts, "Shield bearers, hold the line, do not be afraid." A powerful goblin with a huge axe brings down a blow on one of the adventurers. The knight calls upon the holy power, preparing to punish the vile creatures. Zazer casts Holy Light Charm, a powerful support spell. The knight commands, "Everyone to me form blizzard, surround and treat the wounded." The knight's face distorts with rage. We will kill them all!" The goblin commander muses, "A diamond-ranked squad, their abilities have exceeded expectations." He grins maliciously, but unfortunately for them, they came to the wrong place. A terrible winged monster surrounded by goblins rushes out of the shadows towards the squad. The old magician is horrified. "Damn it, it's a mutant goblin!" The elf clicks her tongue. Goblins really are such interesting and powerful creatures. The old magician coughs up blood. The mutant's blow hit its target. A mutant goblin with a whip-like tail descends upon the defeated squad. His eyes, burning with malice, foretell a bloody massacre. The knight in pink fights off the shadow paw, but his strength is running out. "Damn it!" The knight grits his teeth, feeling powerless. The old magician desperately cries out to Cecil, "Save me, please!" Cecil looks at the mage, unable to help, whispering, "Help." A tear of blood rolls from the knight's terror-filled eye. Caesar flies away, realizing these goblins are real demons. The mutant looms over the defenseless old man, who is still begging for help. The knight's face distorts with horror at the sight of the magician's imminent death. The knight in pink, pierced by arrows, cries out in despair, "Damn it!" He berates himself for underestimating the elven snipers, desperately praying for salvation. In horror, the knight notices armored boots approaching him. Goblin Slayer appears before him, and the knight pleads, "Please, save us!" The next moment, goblins rush at the knight from above with raised blades. The sounds of blows and death screams fill the air as the screen goes dark. The knight sees the defeated goblins at his feet with tears in his eyes. Goblin Slayer stands over the bodies, and the rescued knight thanks him and promises to repay him. Goblin Slayer coldly replies, "Repay me, stay away from me, funny boy." The knight shouts after him, "Don't go, the Goblin Lord is here," and Goblin Slayer looks forward to the battle. The camera shows a ravine where the Goblin Commander is holding the old mage. The Goblin Commander grins maliciously, clutching the defenseless old man in his paws. Suddenly, the commander's face distorts with surprise. Something has not gone according to plan. The Goblin's eyes roll back from an unexpected blow or impact. The Goblin Commander is defeated, crushing the mage with him, and they are surrounded by other goblins. A cloaked Goblin Slayer watches from a higher perch. He frowns. "Goblin madness? What's going on here?" A mutant goblin with a whip-like tail looms over the fallen, ready to attack. Goblin Slayer addresses the mutant. "Are you the boss of this gang? You don't look it." The mutant roars in rage. "Let's kill this guy!" Goblin Slayer fearlessly meets the blow of the giant mutant's tail whip. Goblin Slayer's gaze beneath his helmet is blazing with determination. He rushes through the crowd of goblins like a whirlwind, striking them with his sword. Caesar is puzzled. Normal attacks? Does he really have magic? The mutant is enraged, its spiked mouth twisted with malice. The monster transforms, entering mad war mode. The transformed beast with a spiked tail rushes towards Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer takes the attack in stride, comparing the mutant to an enraged bull. With one precise blow, he cuts off the tail of the attacking monster. Goblin Slayer throws down his sword and takes up a huge axe. Goblin Slayer comes down on the mutant from above with an axe. The monster screams in rage, "Die already!" The axe sinks deep into the mutant's flesh, dealing a crushing blow. Suddenly, Goblin Slayer is trapped in a sticky goo. "Damn, my body is stuck!" The mysterious goblin on the dragon decides, "Direct combat is not working. Let's move on to a war of attrition." He commands, "Everyone retreat and surround, attack from afar." Goblin Slayer is amazed. "A goblin who tamed a dragon. This place won't let me down." Explosions from goblin attacks ring out around Goblin Slayer. He breaks free from his bonds, spinning with two swords in a furious attack. Goblin Slayer breathes heavily, leaning on his sword after a grueling battle. The goblin on the dragon grins. He's been fighting for over an hour, looks like he's about to collapse. Goblin Slayer, breathing heavily, reaches for his helmet. The helmet falls to the ground, revealing the face of a beautiful elf with glowing scarlet eyes. The surrounding goblins freeze in amazement at what they see. The goblin rider is puzzled. "What the—" Suddenly, the elf pierces the old mage's chest with her hand. She rips out his heart, declaring, "The heart is the best food." The goblin leader screams in horror, "No! I underestimated her!" The elf unleashes a forbidden power, sweeping away the enemy knights. The elf's face is distorted with rage. Blood splashes onto her cheek. The mutant rushes at her, shouting, "Vile woman, die!" And the elf draws her blade. The dagger in her hand flares with ominous purple energy. The elf says, "Bloom!" as she directs a magical charge. A powerful explosion of energy blows the mutant to pieces. The goblin rider is shocked. Who is she? She even has a goblin's ability to absorb. He orders a retreat, calling Ephrea with him as she recovers on the ground. The elf suddenly turns to the rider. "Wait, I haven't seen such smart goblins in a long time." She offers a deal. "Let me take a closer look, and I will heal the wounded." The goblin rider smirks in disbelief. "You think I'm going to believe this nonsense?" The elf smiles slyly. "Don't you believe me?" She resolutely unbuckles her armor. The heavy armor falls to the ground with a dull thud. The elf stands in light clothing. "Now will you believe it?" The goblin rider is puzzled. Took off her armor and weapons? What is she up to? The dragon and its rider descend smoothly in front of the elf. The goblin dismounts, carrying Ephrea on his back. Let's talk frankly. The elf grins. A simple goblin? You exceeded my expectations. The rider looks at her. I'm here. You promised to heal her. The elf licks her finger. I will keep my word, but first you will satisfy me. Suddenly a glowing needle is thrust into the goblin rider's neck. The elf admits, You look like a low-level goblin, but you're as smart as a king. You're my type. The goblin realizes in horror, You deceived me? He grabs his neck. I let my guard down. I fell into this mad woman's trap. The goblin tries to retreat, his face distorted with fear. He shouts to his people, Why the hell did you turn away? The elf smiles mysteriously, a soft glow emanating from her chest. She explains, They are now under my control. They can't see what we are doing. The goblins and the dragon surround them. The elf hugs the goblin from behind. Relax, I promise I won't kill you. She whispers in his ear, I'll even stay with you. Let me see. The goblin lowers his head. The elf looms over him. She pins him to the ground, whispering, I wonder what you'll become. The elf brings her face closer to his. The goblin froze in surprise. In his head, he thinks, Wait, are you serious? Ephrea, taking advantage of the moment, rushes away through the forest. Hiding in the bushes, she peeks out with horror and embarrassment. She is shocked by what she sees. Goblin Slayer is a woman, and she is with a goblin. Suddenly, a huge dragon paw knocks Ephrea off her feet. Ephrea raises her head, her face contorted with anger and determination. The elf says to the rider as the dragon is carried away, I wanted to see your strength, and you will deal with the consequences yourself. The rider demands an answer. Who are you and what is this strange force? The elf offers, I'll tell you everything if you let me follow you. He replies grimly, That depends on what you say. The rider confesses, baring his fangs, I am a descendant of the Goblin King. The elf was stunned. The Goblin King? She can't believe it. You? The king's descendant? But why do you look like a human? He explains, Perhaps because my mother was human. Memory. His human mother with a baby. He is the offspring of the Goblin King whose warriors attacked her. A flashback. A young rider, scared but surviving against all odds. 10 years ago, he personally killed the Goblin King, who tried to subjugate him to his will. The elf remembers, having absorbed the king's blood, she gained power over the goblins and slaughtered the entire dungeon. The rider clarifies, So you control us with the power of the king's blood? She explains, I added my blood to the weapon. Now you are under my control, you cannot disobey. The elf admits, I became a goblin slayer out of hatred, and bullying the strong is my hobby. The rider reflects, It is not surprising that she has such a character. As an enemy, she will be dangerous. He suggests, It seems we have something in common. Join me. The elf is surprised by his boldness. The rider smiles awkwardly, waiting for her reaction. He continues, Everything is complicated in the Bright City. I can become your spy. It's more interesting here. The elf covers her face in embarrassment. She declares, Since you are now mine, I must protect you first and foremost. The rider asks again, puzzled, Huh? The dark cave is filled with ominous sounds. A status window appears. Ling Tian, a level 55 goblin with impressive titles and skills. Ling Tian thought, A woman with royal blood has given me quite a few points. A cry came from below. Cousin, you're still alive. Ling Tian's gaze hardened as he recognized the voice. In front of him are two captives, his cousin in chains and the tied-up Ephrea. Ling Tian mocks, You're bringing shame to the family. The cousin grins angrily. Useless idiot! He points to the cauldron. Look there, you will die before me. A huge goblin paw grabs Ephrea. She screams in horror, What are you doing? The goblin drags her to the fire. Ephrea begs for mercy. I am noble. I will give you women. The cousin shouts desperately, Stop! I want to see your leader! Ling Tian looks down on his cousin. The cousin begs for his release. He is ready to do anything for freedom. Ling Tian mocks the captive. The cousin suggests a cruel plan. Ephrea is horrified by what she hears. The cousin goes crazy. Ling Tian agrees to the deal. The elf warns of the consequences. Ling Tian is confident. A cry comes from the tavern. It's all over! They're finished! The bartender calmly wipes the mug. What's over? Don't get worked up. The warrior panics. I saw Sissel. Without a leg, he was rushing to the capital. There's a commotion in the tavern. What? Did Sissel's squad fail? The hooded man doesn't believe it. The gray hats and snow braves all destroyed? A knight in familiar armor appears at the door and confirms. Yes. Goblin Slayer states everyone is dead, only Sissel survived. The knight slowly approaches the table and pushes back his chair. The warrior turns to him. Goblin Slayer, were you in that battle? Aha. The hooded man asks, what about the goblins? Hundreds, even mutants. I took care of them. The warrior is shocked and then laughs, as expected from Goblin Slayer. The tavern buzzes with admiration as they treat the hero at the house's expense. Suddenly there is a ringing sound. Something breaks with a crash. A swarm of dark bats bursts into the tavern, causing panic. Visitors look up in horror. It's them. Goblin Slayer chuckles. A cold-blooded mercenary squad? What an appearance. From the shadows, a fanged mouth whispers, Goblin Slayer Sama. The huge winged creature asks, since there are hundreds of goblins, did you find their lair? The knight calmly replies, I didn't find the lair. I returned after killing those. The creature squints incredulously. Really? The winged monster suggests, leave the search for the lair to us. Maybe we should join forces. The knight rises silently, clearly not interested in the offer. He turns away. Night work is not for me, and I'm not used to cooperation. The creature's eyes gleam. What a pity. It looks like the reward will go to us. A flock of dark bats rushes into the night forest under the full moon. Silhouettes of predators flicker among the trees, approaching their target. The scout reports to the captain. No large forces are visible. The blood trail ends here. They are inside. The swarm flies into the cave. The goblin sentries are alarmed. Bats! Be on guard! Looking down, the vampires see a multitude of sleeping goblins. Is that all? Just a handful? The captain smirks. No, Goblin Slayer was right. Big ones. Perfect. Let's drain them while they sleep. The vampires rushed at the sleeping goblins, shouting, Charge! Let's drain them dry! The vampire's fanged mouth with burning eyes is ready to bite into its victim. A sudden flash of light throws back one of the attacking vampires. Engulfed in flames, the bat falls to the ground, letting out a death squeak. A sandaled foot slowly steps through the cave, blocking the way. The evil grin of a goblin with red eyes. How can there be in a goblin lair? A tall woman appears with a staff and forms, exclaiming, Holy nuns! The torches flare brightly, illuminating the dark vaults of the cave. The awakened goblins with torches surround the stunned vampires. The vampires are panicking. Damn, we can't get out! Captain, what now? The goblin chieftain sneers, You dare to come here for blood? Let's see what bloodsuckers are capable of. His red eye gleams with fury, foreshadowing a fierce battle. A powerful red aura emanates from the leader, and the goblins around him are tense. Vampire Lilith, level 61, with a whip and impressive stats, is ready for battle. The goblin smirked. It's good that the system warned us about the ambush of cold-blooded mercenaries. Lilith rises into the air, engulfed in flames, attacking the goblins below. The goblin leader only grins wryly in response to her attack. Behind him, ranks of muscular elite goblins rise up, ready for battle. Lilith continues her attack, but her comrades recoil from the sudden bright light. The goblin's hand flares with holy magic, leaving the vampires in shock. How can a mere goblin use this? A bright flash blinds the vampires, confusing them. Lilith, struck by the light, falls to the ground, her attack interrupted. A figure appears in front of the vampires, offering, No one will gain from a fight. Maybe we can talk? Lilith grins furiously, not going to give in so easily. The goblin chief sits down, asking, I suppose you're here for a reward too? Why would bloodsuckers need money? Lilith's face darkens as she considers the unexpected turn of events. She explains with annoyance, If it weren't for the ban on drinking human blood, who would work for money to buy it? The leader looks thoughtfully at the vampires. If I lure them, I can improve the clan's bloodline. He straightens up. I see. How about cooperation? The goblin extends his hand, offering, I can provide you with blood. The goblins look in amazement at the glowing spheres in their hands. The goblin leader smirks. The blood you have won't last long. He continues. There are records that the kidneys are the source of vital essence and blood. The vampires are completely bewildered, with question marks above their heads. One of them covers her mouth, realizing what kind of essence they are talking about. The goblin leader slyly hides his grin, pleased with their reaction. Legend has it that the succubi discovered the special effect of this essence long ago. No need to kill, just extract from everywhere and get nourishment, the temptress whispers. The goblin throws his head back, engulfed in a stream of purple energy. The leader confidently declares, "We goblins lack everything except this. Let's come to an agreement, and you won't have to worry about blood." The vampires are skeptical, but Lilith declares, "Whether it's true or not, we'll only know by trying." One of the vampires anxiously tugs at Lilith's clothes. "Captain!" "We are the Countess's relatives. The Count is sealed. Maybe we should wait for him. Isn't that too much?" She worries. Lilith resolutely answers, "For hundreds of years our sisters have been dying. If the method is real, we will stop suffering and taking risks." Beads of sweat run down her back as she makes a fateful decision. Lilith's friends cover their mouths in shock as they watch her bold experiment. Lilith's eye widens in surprise, realizing the new taste. Lilith blushes, confirming, "It really can replace blood." The other vampires are delighted. "Is it really true? I want to try it too." The goblin's clawed paw reaches forward. "Leah, hurry! Support me!" Leah playfully clung to the leader. "Chief, you did a great job. The vampires were very hungry." Lilith steps forward decisively. "Goblin!" She continues, "I agree to cooperate. What do we need to do?" The leader points to the cave. "It's always dark here, the perfect place for you." He explains, "You just need to protect the cave from strangers." Lilith considers the offer with a satisfied smile. She coquettishly replies, "Okay, I accept." Lilith leaves, and the leader watches her with a tense gaze. Meanwhile, in the nearest town, the nightlight is on. Rumors began to spread. A squad of cold-blooded mercenaries had disappeared, and the goblin purge had failed again. The city at night is buzzing, and a furious cry comes from the tavern. "Coward! Useless trash!" Inside, the innkeeper scolds the hooded adventurer. "You're afraid of goblins, but you call yourself diamond rank?" The quarrel escalates, and the other adventurers watch the altercation with tension. Suddenly, a stately blonde in armor appears, covering her nose with a handkerchief from the smell of the tavern. The innkeeper shouts in shock, "Saint of the Sword!" The hooded adventurer breaks into a smile. "Saint Sword-sama, glad to see you back." A few minutes later, the Sword Saint lays out the plan. She's going to Dragon Island, the rest are going to the goblins. Ordinary adventurers doubt. "We are left alone, will we cope?" Heroic gunslinger Allison confidently declares, "It's just a little effort, I'm in." Allison, a diamond rank, is ready to lead a quest into the forest to exterminate the goblins. The Sword Saint says with a slight smile, "Okay, I'll leave the goblin mission to you." She then turns to the hooded adventurer, "I need your magic to get to Dragon Island." The hooded adventurer excitedly replies, "It is the greatest honor to accompany you." He grins maliciously. "After this, I will definitely become an epic adventurer." Meanwhile, dark-winged shadows circle in a whirlwind above Dragon Island. Deep in the island, in a cave, a demoness carefully hugs a huge egg. A sudden roar shakes her shelter, causing the stones to crumble. The demoness suddenly raises her head. What's happening? Her peace has been disturbed. From the shadows of the cave, she sees a mighty red dragon soaring over the rocks. The demoness says with annoyance, "I see, I didn't think that woman would come to her senses so quickly." The demoness gently strokes the huge egg, complaining about the inopportune moment. She presses herself against the egg, as if saying goodbye to the inevitable. "My child," she whispers, "remember, your father is a special goblin." Purple energy envelops the demoness, her body begins to transform. Fury flashes in her eyes. "Mad woman, let's end this once and for all!" A huge dark silhouette of a dragon soars into the sky, oozing power. The Saint of the Sword stands amidst the fallen dragons, the battlefield littered with their bodies. She stops abruptly, her boots digging into the ground. A giant amethyst dragon head surrounded by purple flames appears before her. The Sword Saint chuckled. "You've finally shown yourself, mother of the violet dragons." The dragoness can't believe her eyes. "The woman defeated by the goblins has recovered? How dare you hide?" The Saint of the Sword, her aura shining, declares, "You threaten my people, and I will take your life." She unleashes a powerful energy strike with her sword at the dragoness. "Try this." The amethyst dragon responds by spewing a stream of purple flame. The blue energy of the sword clashes with the furious dragon fire. A hooded adventurer hides in fear behind a huge rock from the shockwave. He whispers in horror, looking at the giant paw, "This dragon is incredibly huge." Suddenly, the sword saint grabs the frightened adventurer by the hood. She uses the dragon's tail as a springboard, propelling herself upward with it. The sword saint and the adventurer hover above the dragon, preparing for their next attack. The sword saint shouts at the adventurer, "Get out of the way! Don't get in the way!" The amethyst dragon roars furiously, spewing streams of dark energy. The dragoness attacks with magical crystals, her mouth wide open. The saint of the sword uses her shining blade to reflect the crystals flying at her. A sharp amethyst shard plunges into the hooded adventurer's hand. The adventurer cries out in pain, his hand pierced by a purple crystal. The sword saint deftly dodges the dragoness's hail of magical projectiles. She rushes towards the dragon, preparing transcendent sword skill. The saint of the sword unleashes a series of steel storm attacks on the dragoness. Something soars rapidly into the sky above the forest, scaring the birds. On the ground, there are only fragments of a huge egg from which someone hatched. The little black dragon roars desperately as he sees the world for the first time. Blood drips onto the ground, indicating a brutal wound. The saint of the sword stands over the fallen dragoness, who is breathing heavily. The sword saint notes with annoyance, "I was aiming for the head, but I only hit the eye." The demoness transforms in rage, ready to fight to the death. "Madwoman, I will kill you!" Suddenly, the young dragon rises to his mother's defense, attacking the sword saint with crystals. A beam of light pierces the young dragon, causing it to roar in pain. The demoness desperately throws her tail like a spear at the sword saint. "Child, run!" the demoness screams, sending the dragon to a safe place in her memories. The saint of the sword and the adventurer find themselves in the dragon's mouth, the moment of impact. The little dragon desperately screams, "Mom!" flying towards the defeated demoness. The adventurer volunteers to deal with the dragon, preparing a magical attack. The young dragon rushes towards the adventurer's magical projectiles. The dragon spews a caustic green liquid straight into the attacker's face. The acid eats away at the adventurer's hood and face, causing excruciating pain. The adventurer writhes in pain as the sword saint watches his torment. A healing potion is poured onto the hooded adventurer's burnt face. With scars on his face, the furious adventurer vows to cook the dragon. The sword saint decides to spare the dragon and turns her attention to the goblin threat. Purple flames still smolder on the remains of the fallen dragoness. The adventurer notices that magic is powerless, and the dragon flame only enhances magical power. The little dragon crawls towards its mother's huge body, calling her plaintively. The dragon tries to move his mother, promising to take her to the nest for healing, but he doesn't have enough strength. He strains desperately but falls, unable to lift her. The dragon's gaze fills with determination, and he lets out a long roar. "I'm sorry, Mom. I have to absorb you to gain strength and bring you back," he decides. The dragon begins to transform, enveloped in green energy, its body growing. The enlarged dragon soars into the sky, carrying a part of its mother in its mouth. Finally, he reaches the dragon's nest, a majestic tree in the middle of lava rivers. The dragon lands in the Firelands, its silhouette menacing against the sunset. He holds his mother's head in his mouth, calling out to the heavens among the lava pillars. The mother's head falls down right at the feet of another larger dragon. The young dragon, in a rage, attacks its huge relative, sinking its fangs. Philbus's severed head lies lifeless on the hot ground. The dragon queen, Flame Mother, appears and asks, "Is this Philbus's head?" The Flame Mother looks menacingly at the young dragon. "Who are you?" The dragon replies, "This is my mother's head. Please save her." The other dragons discuss, "The saint of the sword did this. Philbus should never have left the nest." The little dragon looks defiantly at the mighty dragon queen. The dragon queen confirms, "This is her child, but you are not pureblood. Who is your father?" The dragon replies, "I haven't met my father, but my mother said he was a goblin." The other dragons look at each other in shock. "Goblin?" The enraged dragon roars, "Goblin spawn, disgrace! Let me devour this bastard!" The Flame Mother silently considers the situation, her silhouette menacing against the lava. The dragon queen interrupts her kinsman's wrath. "Wait!" Queen's thoughts. "He is the grandson of the old dragon king, the last blood of the crystal dragons." "But he is still a goblin seed. If he wants to stay, he must pass the test," the queen decides. The Flame Mother addresses the dragon. "Little one, if you want to revive your mother, survive by defeating the dragon nearby." The huge dragon gloats. Heh heh, thank you, Queen, for the entertainment. The huge dragon opens its mouth wide, preparing to attack. The giant's powerful tail lashes the air as it looms over its opponent. The other dragons watch the battle unfold with amusement. Suddenly, the giant dragon's eyes widen in surprise. Flames burst from the mouth of a large dragon, but something goes wrong. Ouch! It's eating me from the inside! Help! The huge dragon screams in agony. One of the dragons coldly replies, "It is the queen's decision, fight yourself." The body of the giant dragon begins to dissolve under the influence of an unknown force. The little dragon flies in the sky shouting, "I'm alive! I won! I will save my mother!" The dragon queen silently watches the outcome of the test, standing among the crystals. The queen announces, "From now on you are part of the nest and your name is Nidhogg." The dragonette immediately asks about his mother. The flame mother points the way. "Take the head of Philbus and find the world tree." The head must be grafted to the roots of the tree to create a tree dragon. That's the only way, her voice booms. Meanwhile, the simulation is complete. The hero has repelled the waves of adventurers, receiving 80 life points. The system prompts, "Would you like to move to the simulation progress?" The hand reaches for the go button. In the cave, the goblins rejoice. Their mighty boss stands on the mountain of defeated enemies. Many elite goblins have fallen, but their remains will become food for the evolution of the survivors. After consuming hundreds of bodies, the goblins reached level 50 and completed their transformation. Glutton goblins appear. Their strength has increased, and their gluttony skill increases their health with each meal. Next, the goblin hammermen evolve, gaining the hammer fury skill and immense power. Dark goblins appear, their claws are razor sharp, and their overall stats skyrocket by 1200. The goblin boss explains to the prisoner, "We are hated because we devour enemies for strength, unlike humans." The goblin smirks. "I didn't expect you to be so smart." Suddenly, a seductive demoness appears. "I haven't enjoyed human blood this much in a long time." The demoness turns to the boss. "In gratitude, I found out where the Saint of the Sword is." She continues, "After learning of the deaths of hundreds of adventurers, she left the city on a carnivorous house." The demoness warns, "She wants to call upon a legendary squad of hunters, her old comrades, be careful." The goblin boss smiles maliciously. "She's gone? Great! Finally I can get some fresh air." The demoness is surprised by his fearlessness. "You are not afraid at all, and you are even smiling." Suddenly a goblin soldier runs in. Boss, bad news!" The soldier reports. "Not far away, a group of goblins from another tribe is heading towards our cave." The boss muses, "There are no other tribes within 100 miles. Could these be the former owners of the cave?" The uninvited guests are already climbing the rocks, approaching the entrance. The goblin boss and his elite warriors greet the intruders at the entrance. From above, a squad of aliens led by a huge goblin beast is seen moving towards the cave. The level 50 goblin beast urges on his people. His stats are impressive. The boss is surprised. Such a rare type of hero is just the leader of a small squad? "Get ready, we'll take them alive. They might be scouts from a large tribe," boss commands. Approaching goblins with clubs at the ready cross the river near the cave. The leader of the aliens stops in the water. "Why is there a slight smell of blood here?" The leader of the aliens gloats. "It seems there is food in the cave, we will have a great feast, he. The goblin boss quickly attacks the uninvited goblin beast, blades flashing. The boss's goblins surround the enemy leader, shouting, "Enemy, to battle! Protect the leader!" A clawed paw suddenly appears from under the waterfall, splashing water. The alien goblins run away in horror. "Ah! It's a mutant goblin! Run!" The goblin beast's eyes widen in surprise. He clearly didn't expect such a rebuff. The boss's elite goblins deal mercilessly with the invaders, impaling them. One of the surviving aliens runs away in panic. "Damn! The old lair has been captured! We must report to the Lord!" The bow is drawn, a fiery arrow is ready to fly from the bowstring. The goblin boss stands over the fallen enemy, and the captured goblin beast falls to its knees. The captive goblin beast can't believe his eyes. "Damn it, they're just a bunch of weaklings." He growls in rage, not understanding how his squad could lose. What a useless bunch. Goblin boss looks at the defeated enemy. Goblin beast, level 50, poisoned, came from Goblin. The boss's face is distorted by a sly grin. He is clearly up to something. Chained to the wall of the cave, the goblin beast screams furiously, "Get out! You better get out!" You low-level trash dare to ask me questions? I'll eat you. The prisoner growls, but the boss only sighs. Looks like you need a light beating. The goblin beast does not calm down. A scolding? For me? I am a wild animal. Do you think I will be scared? 10 minutes later, bloody torture instruments are scattered on the floor. The beaten goblin beast begs for mercy with tears in his eyes. I'm wrong. I'll answer for everything. I can't take it anymore. The boss nods with satisfaction. That's already better. Now tell me, what tribe are you from and why did you come? The beaten captive confesses, I am from the Beast King's tribe. I was sent to take something. The goblin boss curiously asks, the leader of your tribe? What level is he? The goblin beast responds tearfully, our leader is the goblin lord and will soon become the overlord. The boss's eyes narrow as he considers the information he has received about the powerful enemy. The prisoner continues, I came for a very important treasure for our lord. Try to find it. The goblin boss repeats thoughtfully, treasure? An image of a 7th-rank demonic ring that can absorb souls and grant power appears. The boss puts on the ring and the prisoner begs, I told you everything, let me go. Of course, boss says, his hand squeezing the goblin beast's forearm. The ring on the boss's finger touches the prisoner's chest, and he screams in horror, what are you doing? The boss grins evilly. I'll let go of your body, but your soul. The ring on his finger glows green, absorbing the energy. A green substance bursts out of the goblin beast's chest, rushing towards the ring. The prisoner screams in horror, no! His eyes full of despair. The goblin beast's soul is completely absorbed, wrapping itself around the boss. The boss is enveloped in a green glow, absorbing new power. His overall stats increase by 200 units. The boss looks at the ring. The enemy's soul power determines the increase in power. The soulless body of the goblin beast falls, and the boss is already making plans against the Beast King tribe. A human captive appears looking at the fallen beast in surprise while the boss ponders. The boss asks the human prisoner, oh, so you know about them? The prisoner warns, you mustn't mess with them. The man explains, the Beast King tribe belongs to the Great Tomb. Even the Lionheart Empire doesn't dare to disobey them. The prisoner is shocked. You really killed him? What is this Great Tomb? The man continues, the Great Tomb rules over thousands of miles of demonic forest, and there is a rank 12 monster living there. The boss repeats thoughtfully, 12th rank? The boss's face distorts as he realizes the scale of the threat. Suddenly, a thought dawns on the boss and determination appears on his face. This is it! The boss turns to the prisoner. Help me subdue him with blood, you know what to do? The boss plans. I'll order him to return to the tribe and report that the demon ring has been stolen. The boss states, but it wasn't us who stole the ring. It was the nobility of the Lionheart Empire. The prisoner is horrified. You mean the Stanman and Pheromone families? The boss confirms with a lively beast visible in the background. I lost on purpose to set up an ambush. Boss's sly grin. When two fight, the third wins. The camera moves to the capital of Lionheart, showing a majestic castle. In the throne room, a young nobleman on his knees. Father, let me explain. He is scolded for disgracing the family. The young man justifies himself. These goblins were not only strong but also smart. The Grey Hat squad was destroyed. The head of the Pheromone family, sitting on the throne, looks sternly at his son. Lord Pheromone's hand clenches into a fist, rings glittering on his fingers. Lord Pheromone is furious. How could an expedition of 2 families lose to some goblins? Everyone is laughing at us. The young nobleman trembles. A puddle spreads at his feet. He begs his father for forgiveness on his knees, while his sister looks on with disdain. The young man remembers the creepy goblin in horror. He's too scary! Lord Pheromone shouts in rage. You pathetic disgrace, get out of here! Count Stanman enters, calling for Lord Pheromone to calm down. Stanman suggests that they join forces to wash the shame from their families. Lord Pheromone doubts. The king has already sent the Sword Saint. Why us? Count Stanman's face twists into a sly grin. He's up to something. Stanman twirls his mustache. Ha, your vision is too narrow. If the Holy Sword always solves problems, the king will think we are incompetent, Stanman explains. Lord Pheromone raises an eyebrow in surprise as he takes in Stanman's words. Stanman suggests, let your son report to the king, and we will gather 1,000 warriors and defeat even the overlord. The young nobleman and his sister listen to the insidious plan with alarm. Lord Pheromone closes his eyes in satisfaction, accepting Stanman's offer. "This trash will go with me to the king," Pheromone declares, looking at his son. A few days later, new events unfold at the picturesque waterfall. In the cave, the goblins cover their ears in panic from a sudden loud sound. An apple core hits a human captive right in the head, leaving him in shock. The prisoner looks in horror at the sword-wielding goblin boss and screams, "Monster!" The goblin boss holds up a homemade pistol, and the goblin girl asks admiringly, "Boss, let me try it." The goblin clings to the boss, begging, "Teach me, please." The boss agrees with a smirk. A goblin scout bursts in. "Boss, a huge force of people has gathered in Bright City, and they are armed." Another reports, "There are many goblins approaching from my side. It seems they are from the Beast King's tribe." The boss smiles slyly. The goblin woman next to him looks on with delight. It seems the show is beginning. From the darkness comes the cough of the goblin beast. "Boss, an army of people came for the ring. I barely escaped." The wounded goblin beast sent by the boss falls to the ground, exhausted. A dark tentacled figure looms over the fallen spy, calling him useless trash. A huge toothy mouth growls ominously, exuding a threat. The goblins gather in a battle cry. "Charge! Destroy the humans! Recover the magic ring!" Under the full moon, blue banners with the coat of arms flutter. The army of the Lionheart Empire is already here. Under the full moon, knights in armor stand guard on the walls of the Bright City. A detachment of horsemen enters the courtyard and is met by a group of people. The new mayor of Bright City respectfully greets Counts Pheromone and Stanman. Count Stanman, sitting on his horse, arrogantly asks, "Where is the Holy Sword?" A mysterious hooded man reports that the Holy Sword had to leave and asks about the Count's purpose. Stanman dismissively waves his hand, but the stranger declares, "I am the Dragon Slayer who fought alongside him." Count Stanman replies with a smirk, "My apologies, we are here to destroy the goblins." Suddenly, the Dragon Slayer jumps back, noticing something strange. Dark energy swirling near the ground. Clawed paws descend onto the cobblestones, emitting an ominous red aura. A horde of goblins with glowing eyes bursts into the city. The guard shouts, "Oh no, goblins!" Count Stanman shouts in rage, "Damn goblins, you seek your own death!" Stanman on horseback commands, "Turn towards the goblins and attack. Brave lions of the Empire, kill them all." Count Stanman on horseback tramples a goblin and swings his sword. Knights on horseback mercilessly pierce and chop down the attacking goblins. The hooded Dragon Slayer releases purple energy, knocking the goblin back. A dark silhouette resembling a dragon flies across the night sky under the full moon. The Dragon Slayer remarks with a slight smirk, "The scene is livelier than I expected." Stanman stands over the fallen goblin with disdain. Goblins are just low-level trash." The Count confidently declares, "If this continues, the battle will be over in less than an hour." Sudden red beams of energy rain down on the knights, catching Stanman off guard. The Dragon Slayer notices the flash of energy, his gaze tense. A giant shadow figure with tentacles and ominous red eyes emerges from the arch. Dark tentacles wrap around the knight, squeezing his armor. Before them appears a level 79 Goblin Beast King, oozing power. The Dragon Slayer is stunned. Who is so strong and so disgusting? The knights retreat in panic under the onslaught of the new threat, shouting, "Back! Back quickly!" Count Stanman is alarmed. What kind of creature is this? A species of overlord? Pheromone suggests sending his men after it. The young nobleman looks at what is happening in horror, turning to his father. Lorena, Loder's cousin, steps forward with a huge sword, ready for battle. Stanman warns Lorena, "Be careful, don't become a failure like your brother." She replies decisively, "Yes, sir." Lorena enters the battle as Dragon Slayer prepares to attack the Goblin Beast King. The Dragon Slayer releases a powerful bolt of energy, shouting, "Try this!" A bright beam of energy strikes the Goblin Beast King right in the mouth. The monster grins furiously, its red eyes glowing from the blow it received. The heroes retreat, trying to lure the giant goblin out of the city. The Goblin Beast King frowns, fearing that he will be led to his own people. The monster regretfully notes that Lorena is in more danger than she thinks. The young nobleman falls, bleeding, his scream echoing across the square. The ominous, tentacled figure of the Goblin Beast King looms over the fallen youth. Suddenly, an enraged warrior appears, shouting, "Just a goblin! Your teeth will be my first trophy!" The Dragon Slayer orders the monster to be distracted so that Lorena can deliver the killing blow. The heroes retreat, the ground cracking under their feet from the power of the enemy. Lorena swings her huge sword in a jump, determined to win at any cost. She uses advanced combat techniques, her weapons glowing with energy. The Holy Spear, evil crushing, pierces straight into the Goblin Beast King. Dragonslayer is surprised that a girl with such low stats is still holding on. The Goblin Beast King is furious. "You damn woman, how dare you sneak up on me?" The monster explodes with purple energy, its back tensing with power. The Dragonslayer looks at the scene in horror, his eyes wide. The Goblin Beast King, surrounded by tentacles and a purple glow, lets out a furious roar. The Goblin Beast King lets out a deafening Beast King's roar, releasing purple energy. Even the Dragonslayer's dragon can hardly resist the power of the sound wave. The Dragonslayer grits his teeth. What power? The ferocity is unimaginable. He tries to calm his pet Xiao Huan as the monster below emits rings of energy. The incredible force of the roar makes the hero's legs buckle. Several warriors, including a young nobleman, lie unconscious on the ground. Lorena sits on the ground in despair. Why? How can such a strong goblin exist? Blood runs down her chin as she whispers, "This is completely unmanageable." Her clothes are torn. She looks at her fallen father and calls out to him. The giant shadow of the Goblin Beast King looms over the helpless Lorena. Lorena is in despair. Her clothes are torn. She whispers, "Save me." In the distance, beyond the forest, flashes of red energy can be seen, foreshadowing a new threat. The remaining warriors panicked. "Lona, something happened to them! Lord Count, we can't lose you!" The Dragon Slayer among the fallen goblins notices something in the distance. "Look over there." He points to an ominous red glow in the distance, asking, What is that?" The Goblin Beast King holds Lorena with one of his tentacles, carrying her away. The tentacle wraps around Lorena. She hangs limply, her gaze empty. Count Stanman's face contorts with rage and horror at the sight of his daughter. Stanman rushes forward in anger. "Damn goblin! Give me back my daughter!" The warriors try to stop him. The Goblin Beast King grins evilly, his red eyes glowing with anticipation. A powerful blow shakes the ground, scattering debris around the gate. The Dragonslayer attacks a giant shadow beast surrounded by a red aura. The monster's sinister paw and its minion with glowing red eyes are advancing. The Shadow Rider on the monster's back exudes red energy, causing the earth to shake. The Dragonslayer's face is distorted in shock at the enemy's incredible strength. The monster's razor-sharp claws glow red, ready to attack. The knights desperately raise their shields against the approaching dark mass. Count Stanman cries out in despair, "Hero, quickly strike the decisive blow!" The Dragonslayer grits his teeth and concentrates his fiery power into his hand, going all in. He prepares to use high-level magic, his blade at the ready. The Dragonslayer leaps into the air, preparing an energy sphere to strike the monster. The Goblin Beast King, his red eyes glowing, faces the approaching attack. A blinding flash of light illuminates the ground, signaling a hit. The goblins run away in panic, shouting, "The boss is dead!" The Dragonslayer breathes heavily, sweat running down his face after the powerful attack. The giant figure of the Goblin Beast King begins to fall apart. The hooded Dragonslayer begins to chuckle quietly. He rips off his hood, bursting into a mad laugh of relief and triumph. "Victory, I win!" he shouts, but an ominous red mouth rises from the ground. A close-up of a terrifying red mouth with sharp teeth exuding menace. A monstrous red creature bursts out from the ground, looming over the Dragonslayer. The huge mouth quickly closes, foreshadowing a terrible fate. A hand flashes in the monster's toothy mouth. The hero has fallen into a deadly trap. The Count and the Knight freeze in horror, not believing their eyes. Dragonslayer mentally calls out to Xiao Huan, "Closer, Xiao Huan." The last hope? The mysterious observer smirks. Has this guy started evolving yet? The monster transforms, its body enveloped in an ominous red aura of power. Before them appears a level 80 brutal goblin, a new, terrifying form. The Dragonslayer realizes in the enemy's jaws, strength, the level of a master. The cruel goblin's eyes glow red as he prepares to devour his victim. Dragonslayer's thoughts. At this rate of absorption, humanity is doomed here. The mysterious observer decides, it seems we will have to intervene to suppress this cruelty. One of the smaller goblins is crushed by the giant foot of the new monster. The goblins, inspired by the boss, shout, "No more running, forward!" The cruel goblin commands his horde. "Everyone forward, one step back and you're finished." A horde of goblins rushes to attack the remaining knights and the Count. Count Stanman shouts in panic, "Quickly, retreat into the city, close the gates!" The cruel goblin roars, "Damn it, we can't let them get away!" The observer on the red dragon sees people hiding behind the city walls. He grins ominously, anticipating. Then, the observer licks his lips as his sinister plan takes shape. Riding a dragon, he quickly leaves the battlefield. The goblins busily collect corpses at the behest of their new leader. A flock of crows circles over the forest, as if sensing a new disaster. Two bright energy trails cut through the night sky. The observer's face distorts. Could it be he's back? He commands his horde, "Quickly, retreat immediately!" The city's towers gaze silently into the gathering darkness. The cruel goblin tries to beat information out of the prisoner, but he holds firm. In response to disobedience, the monster unleashes its deadly fury on the captive. The observer furiously interrogates the monster. "You didn't pick up the ring, did you?" Suddenly, a golden energy blade cuts through the air, rushing towards the cruel goblin. The attack hits its target, piercing the monster's chest with a blinding light. From the sky, like a punishing sword, another golden projectile falls on the monster. A powerful blow shakes the ground. The cruel goblin screams in rage. "Who?" A close-up view shows the hilt of a shining sword, decorated with angelic wings. A mysterious figure in dark armor stands at the hilt of the sword, looking down at the fallen enemy. The astonished cruel goblin looks up at his new opponent. The stranger unleashes a new icy whirlwind of energy on the monster. A hand in a black glove tightly grips the hilt of a sword, preparing for the next blow. Before us is the marshal, a warrior in black and gold armor oozing strength. The marshal steps forward resolutely, his silhouette shrouded in a mysterious haze. Austin and Emma appear. Austin asks with a grin, "Why are you teasing the goblin like that?" The count is delighted. "The Holy Swordsman and the Hunters' Guild is finally here." Dawn comes, dispelling the darkness of the night over the city. A mysterious hooded observer watches the events unfold. He muses, "I didn't expect the guild to arrive. It looks like my intervention won't be necessary." In the town square, the heroes prepare to battle the cruel goblin and his horde. The small goblins, egged on by the boss, grin in anticipation of the fight. The cruel goblin demonstrates his ferocity by devouring one of his own kind. A cruel goblin devours a fellow goblin, his body enveloped in dark energy. The monster activates the skill Cruel Nature, healing itself by absorbing. The observer notes, "Does he have such talent? But the wounds are serious, recovery will take time." The observer's sinister grin, "This is even better." Emma is surprised. "This guy didn't die even after being pierced in the neck and chest?" The cruel goblin, having grown tentacles, is ready for battle again. The monster suddenly begs for mercy. "Wait, I'm a simple goblin, I don't want to fight." Emma asks sternly, "Are you from the Great Tomb?" The goblin accuses them of stealing the artifact. The count vehemently denies, "Nonsense, I didn't steal from low-level mobs." Austin senses something is wrong, and Emma guesses, "It's him, that same problematic guy." Emma is perplexed, and Marshall explains, "The goblin insists that he is from the Great Tomb." Emma is shocked. "He wanted us to kill each other with his hands?" Austin wonders, "Is a goblin capable of such a complex intrigue?" The count shouts in rage, pointing at the monster, "He must not leave alive!" The marshal grins sinisterly, his one eye glittering with anticipation. Shrouded in a dark aura, Marshall declares, "Then I'll take care of him." The cruel goblin looks at the marshal in horror, breaking out in a cold sweat. The marshal unleashes a powerful golden whirlwind, directing it towards the enemy. Marshall's attack turns into a giant tornado engulfing the goblin. The monster is thrown back by the crushing force of the whirlwind, its tentacles writhing. Emma covers her face with her hand, her eyes full of determination. The silhouette of a flying dragon appears in the sky, and Emma notices it. The hooded watcher stands proudly on the back of his red dragon. The villain smirks. "The goblin will still be useful. I'll create problems for them so I can strike when they're weak." The observer commands, "Xiao Huang, get the cruel goblin," and the dragon rushes forward. Emma, surrounded by golden ribbons of energy, screams, "I won't let you go!" Her sword glows, ready for battle, energy swirling around the blade. Emma uses wind magic to chase the flying dragon. She is shocked. How is this possible? It's just a small goblin. Enveloped in a blue aura, Emma decides, "Guess I'll have to deal with you." Emma unleashes Steel Storm on the enemy, a powerful whirlwind of blades. The observer shouts in panic at the dragon, "Xiao Huang, dodge!" The dragon barely dodges the attack, a blue whirlwind cutting through the rocks. The villain sighs with relief. Lucky to dodge, otherwise it would have been tough. Emma lands, her armored boots touching the ground. She watches the dragon fly away against the backdrop of the dawn sky. Emma swears furiously, "No matter where you run, I will find you and kill you." The observer smirks. "This madwoman is damn strong. I'll find a way to deal with her." The chase continues, the landscapes rapidly changing one another. Heroes and villains race through misty fields and ancient ruins. The cruel goblin, surrounded by debris, rushes forward furiously. The monster decides, "Screw it, I need to find a cave. These bastards will soon track me down." The goblin lands at the entrance to the cave, the ground shaking under his paws. He looks around, his red eyes flashing in anticipation of danger. Inside the cave, he smells another goblin scent and mutters, "Money, money." Another goblin reports, "This place is under attack by humans. Boss, the magic ring is in..." I remember the count swearing, "I swear on my name I did not steal anything from low-level mobs." The cruel goblin understands. Now it's clear this bastard wants to take the magic ring. The goblin breaks through the cave wall in rage, looking for hidden treasure. He roars, "Bastards inside, get the hell out of here." Inside the cave, 3 worried elves stood frozen in anticipation. The purple-haired elf whispers in fear, "What should we do? Is he going to break in?" A warrior with a spear is eager to fight, but she is stopped. "The boss forbade us to go out." Suddenly, a blonde in armor appears, reassuring them, "Don't worry." She confidently states, "I believe Lin Tian, he won't let anyone hurt you." A cruel goblin with a burning eye growls at the entrance, "Who's there?" The dragon watcher catches up with the goblin at the cave. "I knew he would come here." The observer's face contorts with rage, "But you will not escape from my hunting grounds." His red dragon Xiaohuang spews a powerful stream of flame at the entrance to the cave. A close-up of the dragon's head as it unleashes a fiery fury on the goblin's hideout. A sword-wielding watcher meets a goblin, both with glowing red eyes. The cruel goblin staggers back, his tentacles writhing from the unexpected attack. The dragon Xiaohuang rams the monster, sending it flying. The goblin's eyes fill with rage. He didn't expect such a rebuff. A dark figure of the observer appears from the smoke, his gaze ominous. On the villain's finger sparkles that same magic ring with a skull. The goblin is shocked. "A magic ring? How did he get it?" The monster roars, "You worthless thing! So it was you who stole my ring? Give it back immediately." The observer smirks. "What if I don't want to return it?" The cruel goblin screams in rage, "Damn it!" A cruel goblin engulfed in a red aura rushes at the observer. The observer meets the attacking monster's gaze coldly. The goblin's blow hits the ground, raising dust. The observer easily dodges, appearing behind the enemy. The villain mockingly asks, "Did you really think you could catch up with me?" Dark slashes of energy flicker, demonstrating the speed of the observer. The observer strikes from above, aiming straight at the goblin's head. A message suddenly appears, "Transcendent skill, piercing howl acquired." The goblin lets out a deafening roar in response, his eyes burning with rage. The watcher's eye glows ominously, ready to continue the battle. The observer activates the skill, his eyes glow purple. A powerful stream of ghostly energy erupts from the ground, rushing upward. The cruel goblin is defeated, his body wrapped in dark tentacles. The observer stands over the fallen monster, his gaze cold. The villain smirked. "Just testing my luck, didn't expect to get this skill." The goblin, enraged and enveloped in a red aura, charges again. The huge monster brings its giant fist down on the observer. The observer deftly dodges, leaving behind a trail of red energy. The goblin's fist, blazing with fury, approaches with incredible force. The monster's crushing blow meets the observer's defense. A sign appears, "Cruel goblin, total strength 2700. The observer smirked. "What incredible strength! But he's weakened after the battle with the guild." The goblin is horrified. "How did you grab my fist? This bastard is getting stronger!" The monster's eye flashes red, not believing what is happening. The observer delivers a crushing blow straight into the giant's chest. The goblin roars in pain. "Impossible! I can't lose to some worthless thing!" The defeated monster lies on the ground. The observer coldly states, "There is nothing to replenish strength with here." The villain adds, "If it weren't for your remaining usefulness, I would have finished you off already." The camera moves to a picturesque waterfall that hides secrets. The observer addresses someone invisible. "This cruel goblin I leave to you." The armored blonde asks about the Watcher's plans for the ring and the goblin's soul. The observer explains grimly, "Among them is Marshall, who can merge with the ground." The blonde asks doubtfully, So what are you going to do? The observer suggests using the goblin's origin from the Great Tomb. The blonde is wary of contacting the Great Tomb, but the watcher is adamant. This is the best way. The observer places a simple ring on the finger of the defeated cruel goblin. He orders the blonde to hand over the goblin to the Great Tomb, along with the ring for revenge. The blonde reluctantly agrees. Okay, I'll do as you say, taking off her glove. A sharp dagger appears in her hand, ready for action. The blonde reaches out to the goblin, green energy dripping onto the ground. Get up! A clawed hand, shrouded in green flame, ready for action. Goblins complain of constant persecution. Suddenly, a goblin warrior appears with disturbing news. The goblin leader frowns. Take me to him. The goblins rush to the source of the trouble. The prisoner is in despair. Forgive me, father, sister. The winged creature watches what is happening. The goblins surrounded the captive, shouting his name. The prisoner begs with tears. Are my father and the others alive? The goblin leader grimly reports the fate of the captive's family. The prisoner looks forward in horror, blood running down his chin. A mad laugh or a cry of despair escapes his mouth. He grabs his head, muttering, I shouldn't have provoked you. The prisoner turns to the blonde. Ephrea, it's good that you will live. He is pushed roughly and falls, bound in chains. Sprawled on the ground, he sees the bones of previous victims. The goblin leader leans over him with a dagger. Why are you giving up now? A green-clawed hand raises a dagger. This knife will ease your pain. The camera shows the gloomy forest of the Great Tomb. The leader of the goblin beastmen calls out from the entrance to the dark lair. Mr. New, are you home? Massive horns emerge from the darkness, the monster's eyes glowing red. Another monster bares its sharp teeth, its gaze empty and terrible. The giant creature looms over the captive goblin, the question hanging in the air. What is it? The prisoner screams, I just wanted to get my own back, but they killed my entire clan. The horned monster, Mr. New, with a ring in his nose, looks at the guest in surprise. The leader of the goblin beastmen holds out a glowing green artifact. This is a tool of your kind. The artifact turns out to be a bone staff with a skull engulfed in green flame. The rod is brought to New's face. Speak, what do you want? A plea comes from the monster's mouth. Help me. Mr. New silently ponders, looking at the pleading goblin. Mr. New reminds, we have an agreement with the Holy Church not to set foot on human lands. Another monster offers, however, I will help you appeal to the Lord. New adds, her eyes sparkling. Exchange them for human trinkets, I think they'll agree. A clawed paw reaches forward. After all, I haven't tasted fresh flesh and blood for a long time. The caption reads, a few days later, showing peaceful mountains. Ling Tian appears in the cave, examining the glowing blue interface. He peers closely at the data displayed in front of him. Ling Tian's stats are impressive. Goblin level 70, total strength 3100. Ling Tian pondered, even though I have mastered corrupted blood, there is still a gap with the sword master. He clenches his fist. But now, united, we will destroy the city of bright light and create a legion of heroes. The blonde woman tells Ling Tian, the cruel goblin has brought people to the entrance. They are waiting for you. Ling Tian looked at the exit of the cave and calmly replied, I know. Ephrea exclaims in alarm, Wait a minute! She puts her arm around his shoulder. Should we go with you to the city of bright light? Ling Tian refused. This is a battle against strong ones like the Sword Saint. Your presence is just a burden. Ephrea whispers in his ear, I gave the cruel goblin the password. Don't disappoint me. Ling Tian threatens, otherwise I will have to punish you severely, but Ephrea retorts boldly. He resolutely heads towards the exit of the cave, leaving her behind. Ephrea smiles slyly, watching him. Ling Tian confidently walked through the water, heading towards the upcoming battle. Ling Tian meets an ally. The cruel goblin bows before him at the waterfall. A voice from the shadows asks, Cruel, is this nondescript goblin your friend? The mighty Oni bulls with horns loomed over Ling Tian, looking him down. Here are New Dali's stats. Ogre Cannibal level 80, total power 3500. Ling Tian chuckled. He actually found a whole gang of Oniox cannibals. Mr. New is surprised by the guest's strength. I expected a 6th rank lord, but this is something different. The violent goblin vouches for Ling Tian. Mr. New, don't worry, our goals are the same. Ling Tian interrupts them with a short command. Enough chatter, lead the way. Ling Tian's face showed unwavering determination in preparation for the upcoming campaign. In the distance, The walls of the city of bright light appear, guarded by a vigilant guard. The cruel goblin warns, "There is a fierce swordswoman there, very strong." Mr. New smirks, "Huh, I love strong prey." The guards are panicking. "What's going on, an earthquake?" The huge Oni bulls roar into the city. The soldiers scream in horror. "These are the Oni bulls. There are so many of them." A dragon's shadow flies over the city, sowing panic among the inhabitants. Ling Tian chuckled. "Oni bulls? To me, the smart goblins are much scarier." His goal is clear. "Once I capture the city of bright light, it will be mine." The Oni bull grabs the man, anticipating delicious, fresh meat. The monster's huge mouth hangs over its defenseless victim. The Oni bull deals a crushing blow to the city buildings. The monster's jaws close, ready to swallow the defenseless man. The eyes of the doomed man were frozen in primordial horror. Suddenly, a squad of heroes led by the Saint of the Sword comes to the rescue. The one-eyed warrior is amazed. "Why are there so many Oni bulls here?" The spearman assesses the impending threat with a stern gaze. He notices a familiar silhouette among the ruins. "Isn't that the guy from the Great Tomb?" The Sword Saint bitterly admits, "It was my mistake. I shouldn't have chased after that goblin." Her hand grips the hilt of her sword, shrouded in a blue flame of determination. "This mistake." The Sword Saint's eyes flashed with energy. "Let me fix it!" The Saint of the Sword, engulfed in blue flames, rushes into battle. Like lightning, she flashes past the giant Oni bull, leaving a sparkling trail. The monster looms over her, its eyes blazing with fury before the collision. The Sword Saint's gaze is full of determination, but there is a glimmer of surprise in it. The Oni bull roars and slams his fist into the ground, sending up clouds of debris. The Sword Saint gracefully dodges, her white cloak fluttering from the shockwave. The puzzled Oni bull looks after her, not understanding where she disappeared to. From the rooftop, Ling Tian watches the battle, assessing the situation. He thinks, "The bulls. They are weaker than the Holy Sword, but their strength is almost equal." Ling Tian concluded, "As long as he distracts her, it will be easier for me to act." An armored spearman dives into the ground, preparing to attack a massive monster. The warrior, stuck in the ground, screams furiously, "Damn beast, I'll kill you now!" Ling Tian grinned maliciously. "An earth transition technique? I've been waiting for this moment." He soars into the air, surrounded by shards of earth using the earth element. A powerful explosion shakes the ground where the spearman had just been. The fallen warrior lies on his back, his face distorted with horror and pain. Ling Tian's huge, clawed paw looms over the helpless spearman. A monstrous mouth with sharp fangs is ready to close over the warrior's head. The elf screams in horror, "No, Marshal!" She draws back the bowstring, releasing the wind god's arrow, her transcendental archery art. The wind god's arrow pierces the air, creating a golden whirlwind. The elf is in shock. What happened? Ling Tian lands, leaving a trail of energy behind him. He mocks the elf. "Elves, I have sharp skills too." Ling Tian orders the Oni ox to attack the others, "Take care of them, and this one is mine." The Oni bull submits, leaving Ling Tian alone against the enemy. Ling Tian was pleased. The Goblin King's order is quite useful. He licks his lips in anticipation of victory. The word absorb flashes with an ominous light. The elf is horrified. "Marshal!" Ling Tian unleashes a punch. Marshal desperately blocks the attack. The Marshal's weapon crackles as he screams furiously, "Damn beast!" The Marshal prepares mountain-splitting strike, his transcendental art. Ling Tian, under the hood, calmly faces the powerful attack. A system message pops up. Skill, strike without a sword. The Marshal unleashes a fiery strike, aiming at Ling Tian. Marshal's face distorts with horror. Oh no! He sees a countermove. Ling Tian's eye flashed ominously. Transcendent magic skill. The Marshal grits his teeth, preparing to meet the unknown force. A powerful blue wave of piercing howl crashes onto the battlefield. The elf is in tears, her face distorted with despair and horror. Ling Tian's dark silhouette looms over the fallen Marshal, the elf watching from the rooftop. The Marshal lets out a dying cry, his face expressing unbearable pain. The elf's thoughts flashed. Impossible! Even Austin was swallowed alive. Ling Tian under the hood absorbs Marshal, dark tentacles wrapping around him. System message, "Congratulations, Master, level increased to 75, total strength 3200. Ling Tian was pleased. Finally level 75, and the strength has increased to 3200. The elf draws her bowstring again, her arrow shining like a golden star. A shining arrow pierces Ling Tian, catching him off guard. Ling Tian's face distorted from the unexpected attack, his teeth bared in rage. Ling Tian, under the hood, looked at the golden arrow flying towards him in amazement. He dodges a hail of shining arrows, his cloak fluttering. Ling Tian frowned. Luckily, I dodged it in time. The elf on the roof continues to fire, releasing new golden shells. Ling Tian was annoyed. This girl shoots a bow like a sniper rifle. He orders the monster, Beast, collapse the bell tower. The green giant jumps, aiming at the tower where the elf is holed up. The monster crashes into the bell tower with a roar, crushing its base. The elf screams, "Damn!" in rage as she loses her footing on the falling tower. Ling Tian grinned maliciously as he clutched the flaming artifact in his hand. The time has come! As she fell, the elf fired 2 shining arrows at Ling Tian. Her face is distorted with rage and despair at the destroyed tower. Landing in the rubble, she sees her arrows barely miss their target. Ling Tian smirked. Even that was reflected. I'll have to wait for it to recharge. He runs away and the elf follows him with an angry look. The elf takes aim again. Don't think that you can hide from my sight! Ling Tian dodges deftly, the ground exploding where he was just now. He lands and the elf behind him falls to her knees in exhaustion. Damn! My stamina is running out! Flashes through the exhausted archer's mind. Gritting her teeth, she whispers, just a little more, I can definitely do it. The elf falls to the ground, completely exhausted. The green giant looms over the fallen archer, his eyes glowing red. The monster opens its huge mouth, preparing to devour the elf. Ling Tian roars at the monster, "Get out of my way, she's mine!" The giant retreats, leaving Ling Tian with the helpless elf. Ling Tian sneered. Such a strong elf, just eating her would be a waste. He picks her up in his arms, his intentions unclear. Ling Tian leaves the ruins with the elf on his shoulder. The elf comes to her senses, her gaze clouded with fatigue. Realizing her situation, her eyes widen in horror. The elf looks in horror at the goblin towering over her. Tied up, she tries desperately to move, but to no avail. What did that damn goblin do to me? She screams in panic. The goblin grins. You'll find out soon enough. Suddenly a warrior appears, her sword flashing blue. With one blow, she cuts through a huge horned monster. The warrior stands victoriously on the defeated beast. She mutters irritably, "What a problem, girl." Suddenly, something in the distance catches her attention. Meanwhile, the elf, having freed herself, clutches a dagger in her hands. The elf stretches her hand forward in horror, her face distorted with fear. A silent scream is frozen in her eyes, tears are rolling down her cheeks. The warrior quickly rushes towards Emma lying on the ground. She leans over her friend. "Emma, no, don't die!" Emma whispers, "Alice, Marshall, and Austin, they're already dead." "Princess Alice, I don't want... Avenge us," her last words. Emma's hand falls limply, life leaving her. Suddenly, a new, even more menacing monster appears, roaring, "Kill!" The warrior grips the hilt of her sword tightly, preparing for battle. She stands over Emma's body, her gaze fixed on the monster. The warrior, her eye glowing red, "You will all die." Rage contorts her face, dark energy enveloping her armored figure. The soldiers freeze in horror, not believing their eyes. 2 bull-like monsters with glowing eyes grin in anticipation. The sword saint soars into the sky, enveloped in a golden glow, the soldiers below panicking. She shouts to the soldiers, "Get out immediately, otherwise you will all die." The soldiers scatter in panic, muttering, "She's scarier than monsters!" The city is shaking from an unknown force. Buildings are covered in dust. Ling Tian looked around, confused. What's going on? His face contorts with sudden realization, his eyes widening. The sword saint hovers above the city, her wings and body emitting a dazzling golden glow. Ling Tian below felt the power, muttering, "Not good." The bull-like monsters panic. "What the hell is this? Run!" One of the monsters looks around in confusion. What happened? The sword saint activates a transcendental-level sword skill. A beam of light shoots into the sky. Her eyes glow with pure energy, her face full of determination. The most powerful blow of the holy judgment falls to the ground in a golden wave. The monsters are defeated, their bodies scattered among the ruins after the devastating attack. The Saint of the Sword stands in the middle of the battlefield in shining armor, surrounded by an aura. Her combat power soars to 5,000 units, proving her incredible strength. The city lies in ruins, the wind howls over the empty streets. Ling Tian muttered as he hid, I thought she was a swordsman, but she turned out to be a damn mage. The nobleman was in awe. The invincible sword saint is too strong. The soldiers rejoiced, their cries of "Long live the holy sword" echoing throughout the area. Blood drips from her hand. The price of victory becomes clear. The sword saint kneels down, her combat power dropping to 2,500. Ling Tian grinned maliciously, his eye glowing ominously. The warrior grits her teeth. It's not over yet. The real culprit has not been punished. She takes out a blue potion, deciding to restore her strength. A sudden fireball rushes straight towards the weakened sword saint. The explosion throws back the sword saint, the nobleman, and the soldiers. The nobleman recognizes Ling Tian floating on the roof in horror. It's that goblin. The vile bastard attacked from behind, the nobleman shouts furiously. He orders the sword saint to heal. We'll take this bastard on ourselves. Ling Tian grinned sinisterly. What did you just call me? The nobleman rushes into the attack, repeating, vile and shameless. With one blow, Ling Tian knocks the nobleman to the ground. The goblin taunts, knowing that I am a goblin, you are trying to negotiate with me? The soldiers shout in rage, kill him! Let's avenge the count! Ling Tian clutched his sword, his gaze filled with cold determination. Ling Tian cuts down the soldiers in an instant, his blade flashing orange. The soldiers shout, don't retreat! Buy time for the holy sword! One of the warriors roars with fury in his eyes. Give us your hearts! Ling Tian pierces the soldier. The blood dyes the battlefield crimson. The goblin grins at the fallen one. Not bad. Now I'll take your heart. Ling Tian unleashes sword energy surge, sweeping away another soldier. His hand clutches the warrior's armor, which cracks under the inhuman force. Suddenly the sword saint appears, her gaze blazing with fury. She dodges Ling Tian's dagger, her hair flying from the force of the blow. The sword saint charges forward, her sword shining as it points at the goblin. The sword saint delivers a devastating kick, her clothes torn in the fight. Ling Tian crosses his arms, blocking the powerful attack. Sparks fly in all directions. The goblin flies across the roof, unable to withstand the onslaught of the warrior. Ling Tian thought irritably, damn, her strength has dropped to 2,500, but she's still damn strong. He activates a transcendental magic skill, blue energy enveloping him. Ling Tian releases piercing howl. The shockwave spreads out in circles. The sword saint is attacked by multiple energy blades, and she struggles to resist. Her face is distorted with rage. She is not going to give in to this onslaught. The sword saint responds with divine sword intent, releasing a gigantic golden wave. Ling Tian looked at the approaching devastating golden attack with apprehension. Ling Tian frowned. Demonic skills have almost no effect on her. He understands. If this goes on, we will both suffer or I will lose. She is a saint type, she can suppress me. The sword saint swings her sword furiously. Today we will settle everything once and for all. Ling Tian smirked. You like the taste of defeat, huh? Shut up! The sword saint charges forward. Then we'll see! Her golden blade leaves a powerful trail, destroying everything in its path. Saint Sword's face is distorted with anger. She is full of determination. Together, kill him, she screams, and the ghost warriors rush towards Ling Tian. Ling Tian easily grabs one of the ghost knights by the throat. With one movement, the goblin throws the spectral warrior aside. The sword saint watches in horror as the ghostly knight tries to stop her. With a powerful kick, she sends the spectral warrior flying. The ghostly knights are scattered from the furious attacks. Ling Tian mockingly shouted, Stop dodging, stand still! The goblin mercilessly pierces another ghostly knight with a dagger. Ling Tian uses the knights' bodies to dodge, surpassing the sword saint in speed. You vile creature, stop running! The warrior screams in rage. The goblin waits until the sword saint's faith breaks before delivering the finishing blow. An hour passes and heart-rending screams are heard. The tortured warriors beg the saint of the sword, Kill us, avenge us! Ling Tian pierces the knight. Boring. It's time to end. Your pathetic defeat is sealed. The sword saint shouts in rage, Don't think you can escape! She attacks, but Ling Tian exposes the ghost warrior to her blow. The ghost knight is blown to pieces by her own sword. The goblin is unharmed. Ling Tian thought with glee, It worked. This will make her completely lose her mind. The saint of the sword, in a frenzy, hacks at her own warriors, shouting, I'll kill you! I'll kill you! The goblin steps back, watching as she destroys her own ghosts. Ling Tian chuckled. Well done, sword saint. You're much more efficient at killing people than monsters. The warrior's face is distorted with horror and spattered with the blood of the fallen. The Saint of the Sword stands among the wreckage of her knights, whispering in despair, The Holy Sword's sword falls to the ground with a clang. She looks at her bloody hands. I killed those I was supposed to protect. The Sword Saint covers her face in despair. Ling Tian watches. The goblin sees her vulnerability. Here is your chance. Ling Tian mercilessly thrusts the dagger into her back. The Sword Saint falls to her knees, unable to resist. It begins to rain, washing away the blood from the battlefield. Her golden aura fades, leaving her alone under the cold drops. There is horror and pleading in her eyes. God, it's not my fault. She raises her hand to the heavens. God, have you abandoned me too? The Saint of the Sword lies powerless on the wet ground, the rain washing over her. Ling Tian loomed over her, stating, tainted by the blood, her holy power was gone. He leans towards her. So strong, but with a fatal weakness. Ling Tian's eyes glow red. Be mine. Help me overthrow religious superstitions. Lightning flashes in the sky, foreshadowing something ominous. The Saint of Swords' clothes are torn. Tears of despair flow down her face. Ling Tian sheds the rest of his clothes, his body covered in battle scars. A ruined city is drowning in pouring rain, a scene of devastation. Someone's monstrous paws splash through the puddles, approaching. Suddenly, Ling Tian shouted in panic, The church people are here! Run! Ling Tian was shocked. The church! His plan was in jeopardy. The knight's powerful boot shook the ground, and Ling Tian barely managed to jump back. The bishop's holy guard, the church's elite warriors, arrive. The Sword Saint lies unconscious on the ground while Ling Tian tries to escape. The goblin quickly runs away, pursued by the knight's gaze. The knights surround the fallen Sword Saint, assessing the situation. One of the knights muses, I didn't expect that even she would suffer such a fate. He continues, to think that it's just a little goblin. Ling Tian stands in front of them. The knight sees him as a typical demon. The bishop orders the guards, Holy warriors, in the name of God, give your strength for the sake of peace. The knights of the Holy Guard chant, Let's drive out the demon. Hallelujah. Ling Tian looks at the arriving church warriors in astonishment. The Holy Guard quickly rushes to attack the goblin. Ling Tian barely fends off the simultaneous attacks of several knights. The goblin is amazed. In such heavy armors and so fast! The combat power of each holy warrior is estimated at 3,000 units. A powerful strike from the knight's sword splits the ground in front of Ling Tian. Ling Tian breathed heavily as he admitted, These guys are much stronger than I thought. But the goblin doesn't give up. His gaze is full of determination. So what? Ling Tian activates his dark power, releasing corrupted blood. The eyes of one of the knights flash red. The goblin's power is at work. The holy warrior falls, struck down by Ling Tian's dark energy. The knight screams, losing his holy power. Forbidden item! Do not pursue! Ling Tian quickly retreats, leaving the defeated warriors behind. The goblin thinks in flight, even the church's foot soldiers are that strong. The plan will have to change. Ling Tian glides across the rooftops like a shadow, escaping from his pursuers. The knights decide to retreat. One of them looks at the Sword Saint. She needs purification. One of the warriors raises the Saint of the Sword. The other laments, We are too late. The bishop announces, God has already chosen a new servant. We are no longer looking for her. Ling Tian, hiding, examines his injured arm, feeling the aftermath of the battle. Ling Tian stood on the cliff, his aura becoming even more powerful. He finds a graveyard of enemies, but Bull Oni's body is still there. The goblin grins maliciously. Now we can eat to our heart's content. System message, ding. Congratulations on reaching level 80. Rugged mountains rise on the horizon, marking a new stage. The girls meet Ling Tian. Boss, you've become even stronger. Tell me, how did it go? Ling Tian smugly declared, The Sword Saint is already mine. His companions are shocked. Did you really overcome her? And even subjugate her? He confirms, but with annoyance. Unfortunately, the church took it away before I could enjoy it to the fullest. The purple-haired goblin looks at him in surprise, considering the news. The redhead demands Ling Tian, but he waves her off. I have serious business. Ling Tian announces to his companions, We've bought some time. It's time to move to a new sanctuary. His target is the Great Tomb, a place that even the church avoids. From above, one can see a sprawling camp of goblins settling into a new location. Goblin women sort supplies among their tribesmen at the new camp. Ling Tian, arms crossed, looked ahead confidently, surrounded by his warriors. The scroll reveals a non-aggression pact with the church and a plan to increase the clan's numbers. Under Ling Tian's command, the dragon takes off. The main task is to capture people, not to destroy them. The map shows modest results. 10 villages produced only 230 women, which is far from the target. The cloaked Ling Tian is confident that it is only a matter of time before he can capture more than 1,000 people. Ling Tian notices a small town ahead, a new target to capture. The dragon carries the order. Prepare the bags, act quickly, and move on. The city of Kosalaro is the next point on the map of Ling Tian's conquests. In Kosalaro, the mayor calms the guards. One of the warriors boasts of past victories over the goblins. The mayor orders that the gates be guarded and any goblins destroyed as they appear. The wounded villager tries to warn, these goblins are terrible and larger than usual. The cocky adventurer just smirks. Just big creatures, nothing to worry about. A level 50 ace is confident that he can handle even hero-class goblins. Mayor Frank orders preparations. These creatures will be here soon. A dark mass of goblins approaches the gate. The guard shouts in panic, "They are here!" The city's defenders prepare to meet the approaching goblin horde. Mayor Frank and his warriors stand resolutely at the ruined gates. Ace offers a bet. Whoever kills the most goblins gets to buy them a drink. The arrogant warrior grins. "It's boring, I can handle everything myself." He tells the others to rest, intending to repel the attack alone. His comrades look at each other in surprise when they hear his boastful speech. Suddenly, the mayor senses something is wrong. His gaze becomes tense. A powerful explosion shakes the earth, heralding the appearance of a formidable force. The red dragon with Ling Tian on its back pounces on the defenders. One of the warriors is thrown back by the shockwave from the dragon's attack. The defenders are horrified. Why is there a dragon with the goblins? The warriors start to run, shouting, "The scouts lied, they are monsters." Ling Tian coolly notes, "So many people have prepared, it's interesting." The dragon hovers over Kosalaro, the city is in panic. A desperate fight breaks out in the tavern. Tables fly to the sides. The mayor shouts in rage at the braggart, "You said you could handle the goblins!" The overconfident ace despairs. Why are they so creepy? Are they really goblins? A huge clawed paw with a red aura looms over the fallen warrior. A monstrous goblin with glowing eyes grins angrily at its victim. A deafening roar echoes over the city, foreshadowing new horrors. The fallen warrior lies at the feet of the monster, who expected more resistance. Hordes of small creatures and spider-like monsters flee in panic from the devastated settlement. Behind the wooden palisade of the new camp, a watchtower can be seen under a peaceful sky. The winged humanoid warns, "The scent of humans will attract all the monsters in the area. First time in the Great Tomb?" The goblin nods in understanding. "You can't hide people's sweat. That's why they're so afraid of the Great Tomb." The pale goblin reminds the winged creature, "Don't forget to thank Mr. New Dolly for this." The goblin goes to the tents, turning to the winged one. "What I promised you?" The winged monster's face is distorted with surprise or anger, and its eye flashes. The winged monster looks at the group of captive women in rage. "You! How come there are so many people here?" The monster grins, licking his lips. "Are these really all your trophies for goblin breeding?" The winged monster menacingly questions New Dolly about the church and the tomb's pact while the goblins drag the sacks. New Dolly reassures with a grin. "Relax, these are dead prisoners captured before they came here." The winged monster is pleased. "Good. If anything, contact me. I will provide you with safety for development." New Dolly politely thanks. "Thank you for your concern, sir. Come again. You are always welcome." The winged monster flies away laughing, promising to report to the lords, and New Dolly watches him go. New Dolly wipes away her sweat with relief. Finally, we can develop in peace. The little goblins are sleeping peacefully, and New Dolly asks Goblin Moon how many there are. Goblin Moon reports, 3,000, but more is needed for the second birth. Mutants and lords did not produce offspring. New Dolly's face darkens. It seems the mutated and the lords are having a hard time producing offspring. New Dolly turns away thoughtfully, touching the tent canopy. Goblin Moon watches him. New Dolly decides, let's catch monster beasts and raise low-level goblins to increase our numbers. In the quiet goblin camp, tents are visible, ready for a new stage of development. New Dolly sits down, preferring not to catch the monsters himself. The simulation system is faster. His gaze is determined. System, start life simulation. The system reports, scenario, Great Tomb, goal, goblin reproduction through capture in the demonized forest. Simulation, goblins fight to capture man-eating rabbits and crying monkeys for a new generation. On the way back, they catch a rank 7 female bear, improving the clan's gene pool. A month later, the tribe expands production using captured monsters, such as a giant rhinoceros. Suddenly, during a period of rapid development, the camp is attacked by humans, leaving behind fallen goblins. New Dali is furious. Attack by humans in the Great Tomb? How dare they? The system offers New Dali options for responding to human attacks. The simulation shows negotiations have failed. The tribe is almost destroyed. A miserable defeat. New Dali frowned after receiving only 10 points. It looks like they're already furious. We need to be proactive. New Dali strides resolutely through the camp, thinking over a new plan. He turns to the big goblin. Beast, do you know where the Lord lives here? The big guy points to the distant forest under the moon. In the highest part, that's where his clan is. New Dali smirked. It's time to get rid of the thorn in our side, the Lionheart Empire and the Holy Church. A month later, the winged monster doubts. How do you know they can't come? The winged one is surprised. The Great Tomb has made a pact with the church. New Dali is sure. I have seen their army. They are coming for my soul. The winged monster with a predatory look confirms. I see. I see. The monster soars into the sky, promising, don't worry, I won't let people run amok here like the other lords. New Dali thanks, watching the monster fly away. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, a countless army of people wearing helmets and carrying spears marches forward. The knight on horseback inspires the warriors. Warriors, today we will not return until we exterminate these goblins. Suddenly, the knight notices the dark silhouette of a dragon in the sky flying towards them. The knight is surprised, but confirms, a goblin riding a dragon, just as intelligence reported. A red dragon with a goblin rider dives headlong towards the human army. The knight shouts furiously at the rider, Hey, you there! Are you the goblin boss who destroyed my villages and towns? New Dali smirked and replied from above, Have you forgotten the pact between the church and the Great Tomb? Are you provoking us? The knight angrily declares, You are just rats that escaped into a tomb. Killing you will not break the pact. He points to his army. See those lions? I'll grind your bones into dust, avenging my grandfather and Alice. New Dali asks with a grin, Oh? So that's it. Do you want me to tell you the secret of the Saint Swordswoman's taste? The goblin continues mockingly, hinting at her fate. Was very wet, tasted sweeter than honey. The knight's face distorts with rage. You, shut your mouth! He orders the holy guard. Kill him! I want to grind his bones into dust. New Dali chuckles. What a fragile guy, he got excited from a few words. Another knight tries to stop the Duke. Your Grace, the scouts have not returned yet. Going into the tomb is mortally dangerous. New Dali asks again with feigned surprise. Scouts? The goblin points to a dark figure nearby. You mean this? The action moves back 10 minutes to a forest shrouded in night. 10 minutes ago, human scouts are horrified by the sight of a goblin camp. Suddenly, they feel mortal danger, looking around in panic. Horrible bone creatures attack the scouts from the darkness. Meanwhile, in the present, the enraged Duke gives the order. Everyone attack! Destroy the goblins! The soldiers of the Lionheart Empire fearlessly rush forward with their spears at the ready. The Duke laughs madly, anticipating the reprisal. Ha ha ha! Are you scared, creatures? New Dali coldly retorts, This is the price for angering the lion! I will grind you into dust! Suddenly, someone's clawed paws land next to the Duke. Really? The same winged monster appears in front of the army of people, emitting a dark aura. The Duke shouts in shock, These are man-eating eagles! Everyone be on guard! The winged monster menacingly reminds, Church, long time no see. Have you forgotten the pact you proposed? The knight boldly replies from afar, Ogre man-eater, this is an order from the Pope. You have no right to negotiate with us. The monster viciously promises, You won't be arrogant for long. When the old man dies, I will personally crush your heads. The knight is adamant. Don't worry about the future. I have been ordered to exterminate the goblins. If you dare interfere, you will die. The Duke swings his sword, commanding, "All troops, listen to the order! Forward! Kill!" The silhouette of the monster is enveloped in an ominous aura. It looks like... The other tomb lords appear behind him. Do you think the Great Tomb is a place you can enter and exit at will? The knights look at the monster reinforcements in confusion. So the Great Tomb has decided to hide these goblins? The man-eating eagle confirms with a challenge. You can count it that way. The Duke in his helmet freezes, considering the situation. The knight advises the Duke to retreat, but he is furious. The lions of the Empire do not flee. Another knight clarifies, this is not a flight, but preparation for a new, even greater battle. New Delhi and the Dragon watch as the human army hurriedly leaves the battlefield. The winged lord explains to New Delhi, this was the church's message. The tomb no longer fears them. The monster transmits, become the Goblin King and you will enter the real Great Tomb. New Delhi is intrigued. The real Great Tomb? The resources here are really good. Meanwhile, a call sounds from the temple walls. Kill the goblin! The holy swordswoman is unworthy. An angry crowd denounces the former swordswoman saint for her association with a goblin. Someone's confident steps in armor are heard on the stone floor. The king is furious. The problem with the goblin is not solved, and now there's this scandal. The king bursts into the room, shouting in despair, "Alice!" His face is distorted with anger and bewilderment. He sees Alice protecting the little goblin and laments that he didn't solve the problem sooner. The king, sword in hand, orders Alice to step back, afraid of hurting her. The tip of the sword is pointed straight at the frightened goblin boy. Alice grabs the blade with her bare hand, blood running down her fingers. She asks, "Your Majesty, what are you doing?" The king declares that for the sake of the people and the empire, he will return it to the true path. Her hand tightly grips the cold steel of the sword. Alice does not let go of the sword, continuing to protect the goblin child. The king, furious and shocked, shouts, "Alice, you!" Alice asks with tears in her eyes, "Your Majesty, are you really going to do the same to me?" The inscription flashes, transcending saint skill. A powerful stream of holy energy throws Alice back. The king looks sternly at the defeated Alice and the goblin boy. Cardinal appears, also wielding the transcendent saint skill. Alice is imprisoned in a cage of golden pillars of light. The king asks the cardinal to deal with Alice, unable to do it himself. Alice screams that this is her punishment, and she will accept God's punishment by losing her holy power. The cardinal replies that God did not abandon her, she abandoned God. The priest turns to the goblin child, demanding that Alice hand over the child to him. The goblin boy watches in horror as Alice is imprisoned in a light prison. Alice trembles with despair, realizing her fate. At the palace walls, the crowd chants, "Long live His Majesty!" The king comes out to the people, who demand justice against the holy swordswoman. The king throws the goblin child at the feet of the crowd, saying, "Here is the explanation you wanted." The king growls menacingly, "One more word against the holy swordswoman and you will answer." The crowd falls silent in fear under the angry gaze of the monarch. The next day there is panic in the palace. "Your Majesty, Alice has disappeared." The king jumps up from his throne, shocked by the news. "What?" Meanwhile, somewhere far away, a powerful monster is shrouded in blue flame. The berserker goblin Gibukwang boasts to the boss, "Ha ha ha, I now have magic." The other goblins demand enviously, "Boss, we want flesh and blood too, we want level 70. New Delhi lazily replies, "The forest is full of monsters, go and gain experience yourself." He surrounds himself with flames, threatening, "Do you think I'm safe here?" The goblins run away in panic. "We're coming right now, boss, don't be angry." New Delhi thinks with disdain, "I spoiled them too much, they always dream of free stuff." Suddenly his face changes and he says, A huge winged figure of the man-eating eagle lands behind him. The man-eating eagle says, "Little Tian, I want to introduce you to a lord." New Delhi grins slyly. "New acquaintances? Great, they'll come in handy as scapegoats." The man-eating eagle nods. "I'm glad you don't mind, he's right behind you." Behind New Delhi, a giant southern lord, the golden-maned lizard, appears. New Delhi activates her skill, sizing up the new enemy. System reports, Lizard Man level 88. Strength does not impress New Delhi. New Delhi turns to the lizard. "Lord, are you interested in humans?" pointing to the cage. The lizard offers the man-eating eagle to divide the captives, but he reminds him of the previous agreement. The lizard claims his rights to the territory. The man-eating eagle counters that he is the one who decides here. A lizard with glowing eyes offers the man-eating eagle to share a meal of people. New Dolly interrupts their argument with a sharp shout. Hey! New Dolly bursts into flames. Stop being a pain! I doubt you'll eat that much. The lizard's scaly back tenses in anticipation of a fight. The lizard, surrounded by a green glow, growls at New Dolly. Are you talking to me, you worthless thing? A man-eating eagle with a purple aura stands between them, blocking the attack. The man-eating eagle sternly warns the lizard, go away or you won't escape. The lizard accuses the eagle of wanting people for himself and suggests killing New Dolly first. The man-eating eagle attacks the lizard with powerful energy blasts, forcing him to retreat. The lizard, in a rage, threatens the eagle. You'll regret it! When you're gone, I'll kill them all! The defeated lizard, having decreased in size, hastily retreats. The man-eating eagle apologizes to New Dolly for the lizard's greed, but he is calm. The man-eating eagle ponders the consequences if New Dolly killed the lizard, punishment, or the title of Lord. New Dolly ponders the title of Lord will give power, but will limit hunting. He smirks, deciding that he won't lead these weaklings. Meanwhile, the crunch of bones can be heard in the forest. The goblins are feasting. One of the goblins greedily absorbs the remains of the monster, gaining strength. Suddenly, the goblin transforms, enveloped in a purple aura of evolution. His body changes, sharp claws and a blade-like tail appear. With one blow, he cuts down several trees, demonstrating his new power. The goblin screams in delight, feeling his strength increase many times over. Far away, a smaller lizard makes its way through the undergrowth, searching for something. He spots a dragonfly on a blade of grass, licking his lips in anticipation. The lizard reaches for the dragonfly, but a clawed paw grabs it from the water. The dragonfly flies away, and the lizard is dragged underwater with a splash. The lifeless lizard lies on the bottom, the goblin notes, still a baby and already a meter long. The goblins are feasting, one of them admires, delicious, almost like human flesh. 3 goblins greedily bite into the remains of the lizard. Their eyes flash ominously, hinting at a new wave of evolution. Numerous lizard burrows can be seen in the marshy area. The female lizard complains, This bastard is always wandering around. Has he fallen into the hands of a monster? She turns around at the rustling in the reeds. Are you looking for him? Suddenly she stumbles upon gnawed bones, covering her mouth in horror. The female lizard runs away in terror from the multi-armed goblin, screaming, Who are you? The goblin licks his lips, ignoring her title. Lord? What difference does it make? You're a beauty. The lizard guard with an axe stands up to defend. How dare you speak to the mistress like that? The guard growls furiously, preparing to attack the impudent goblin. The goblin pierces the guard with one blow, revealing his true power. The victorious goblin looks at the female as his creepy kin approaches. The goblin grabs the female lizard by the head. Let's leave this one for the boss. There is panic in the lizard settlement. Goblin invasion, and the Lord is gone. The lizards rush desperately into battle, shouting, Kill them all! The goblin leader grins sinisterly, anticipating an easy victory. The goblin rains ice spikes down on the lizards, sending them flying. An evolved goblin with a blade-like tail fiercely fights off its fellows. A winged goblin mutant devours defeated lizards, satiating itself with their flesh. The lizard warrior raises his knife over the fallen goblin, preparing to deliver the finishing blow. The silhouettes of a lizard and a winged goblin converge in mortal combat against the backdrop of a red dome. The goblins retreat, carrying the female lizard, planning to return for the others later. The battlefield is littered with the bodies of lizardmen. A survivor whispers, Lord, where are you? The returning southern lord looks at what is happening in horror. The lizard lord sees his tribe devastated, killed by goblins. The lord's clawed paw clenches in rage, the ground shaking beneath him. The surviving lizard begs the lord, Master, save the lady and daughter, they were carried off by goblins. Lord Lizard is at a loss. Impossible! I just came from them, they wouldn't dare to do it so quickly. He sniffs the air, trying to pick up a scent in the devastated settlement. The lord's eyes widen. The smell of the mistress, mixed with the stench of goblins. Enraged, surrounded by a green aura, the lord rushes to take revenge. I will cut out your entire clan! Meanwhile, in the Tianquang tribe's camp, smoke rises from the fires. 2 evolved goblins rush to the leader. Boss, we brought something good. The goblin leader smirks, remarking, Wow, they've all evolved. The characteristics of Gobushan and Gobudi, a mutant and an assassin, appear. The leader reflects. Gobushan's strength has almost caught up with Gobukwan's, and Gobudi is not far behind. The leader notes, Gobudi is an assassin. With equipment, he will become even more dangerous. Suddenly, the prisoner's cry is heard. "Let go, you damn goblins!" Gobushan drags two lizards. One of them shouts, "I am the Lord's wife. He will destroy you." A clawed paw clamps over her mouth with the order, "Quiet." Gobushan presents the prey to the leader. "Boss, especially for you. One is younger, the other is more experienced." The leader is surprised. "Mistress, is this really from the tribe of that temple lizard lord?" The captive proudly replies, "My husband is the southern lord. Now you are afraid, but it is too late." The leader grins ominously. "Ah, so this is the lord who threatened to slaughter my tribe?" The female lizard babbles in horror. What are you planning? Pathetic goblins, a terrible death awaits you." The leader takes aim with a crossbow. The hieroglyphs foreshadow a shot. A young lizard lies unconscious on the ground with drops of blood around it. The goblin leader announces, "These two lizards are yours." The crowd rejoices. The goblins, shouting, "Mine, and leave her to me," rush at the captives. The leader asks Gobukwan, "What did you do to his tribe? Did you only capture these two?" Hearing that almost everyone has been eaten, leaving only for reproduction, the leader screams, "What?" The three guilty goblins mutter, "Boss, we made a mistake. Never again." The leader suddenly breaks into a sinister smile. "Ha ha ha, superbly done." Gobukwan is flattered, and the leader is looking forward to the lizard lord's reaction to the devastated lair. A powerful green tail with spikes falls with force onto the ground of the goblin camp. The enraged lizard lord bursts in, surrounded by an aura. "Give me back my wife and daughter, you damn goblins." The lizard lord's eyes turn bloodshot as he sees the horrific sight. He sees how vile goblins mock his family. "Wife! Daughter!" A cry of despair echoes throughout the camp. The goblin leader smirks. "Speak of the devil, but you're too late." Lord Lizard roars, green energy bursting from his mouth. "None of you will leave alive today!" A devastating torrent of fury falls upon the unsuspecting goblins.